You're correct. Somebody said, why do I feel like this is going to be about Benny Blanco? You're correct. But it's also about a bunch of other people. Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? I'm excited about today's topic for many reasons. It's nice to see everybody. I'm glad mic is working, chat is working. We hear somebody said the music slays. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Someone said, I really wonder if he's going to talk about Lana. Yes, this is also about Lana Del Rey. Listen to me. I wanted to talk about this for years. I've actually been wanting to talk about this topic for years because it's fascinating to me. It's kind of funny, kind of not funny. And the reason I held off on it was mostly because I was a little bit worried about like coming across the wrong way, if that makes sense. I didn't want to just sound like I'm doing some sort of blanket defense for ugly dudes or whatever. That's not really my point at all. And people get super like up in arms about this topic, which I think is really funny. So today I was like, you know what? I have other topics in the bank or whatever, but I'm kind of just like, someone said Ethan Slater, we're talking about him too. I was like, you know what? Today I'm actually just going to say what I think about Ethan Slater, Jay-Z, Benny Blanco, Pete Davidson. He's not a husband, but he actually gets, he falls into the ugly husband syndrome category. And also Jeremy Dufresne, which would be Lana Del Rey's current husband, because I just feel like somebody should just talk about it. We should just talk about it. It's such an interesting topic, and I'm not scared anymore. It's probably not going to be a perfect video. It's going to get a little bit messy, but I have some things to say. Also, another thing, someone said naming all of these people is so shady. That's the thing. The main reason I didn't want to, I'm going to be saying, first of all, if you're new, hi, welcome. The first 30 minutes of my live streams usually go like this, where it's just me talking and then about nothing. And then at the 30-minute mark, that's when we'll get into the actual topic or whatever. But the person who said naming these people is so shady, here's the thing. I felt the same way, which is why I never made this video. Like a year ago or whatever, when Lana Del Rey marries some dude and all the comments are calling him ugly, and I just thought that was so interesting. I was like, I can't make a video about this because then like I am sort of calling this dude ugly. Or it was the same thing with Benny Blanco, where Selena Gomez debuts on IG with her new boo, and all these people are calling this dude ugly. And I was like, this is interesting. This is in my wheelhouse. But if I make a video, it sounds like I'm essentially validating this opinion. But you know what I thought about? You know what I thought about though? I was like, and you got to work with me on this. I was like, they're not conventionally attractive. Objectively. It's more so the convention is, in my mind, complete garbage. And I actually think there are plenty of reasons to be mad at people that don't have anything to do with them falling outside of beauty standards that are at their heart completely unattainable for many people, especially when it starts intersecting with some other things. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. And I want you to know, this is not a video essay. This is not a deep dive. This is literally just a conversation. It's just a conversation. So yeah, I thought that would be really fun. I thought that would be really fun. Someone said, or like Celine Dion's first husband. I feel like this has been a trend for years. Yeah, no. What I need, and listen, I'm being so for real with y'all. I need y'all's help during this video because this is not like an actual ABC. This thing happened, and I can give you all of these facts and stuff. It's literally just me vaguely talking about people. I would like you to give me your thoughts as well so I can react to them and kind of get some conversations kicking. I'm looking for like think pieces in the comment section when this video comes out later. So yeah, anything that you think while I'm talking, feel free to share. But yeah, this is definitely not going to be a stream of me calling a bunch of dudes ugly or stuff, because I'm just like, it's so interesting. So please work with me. Thank you. Someone said conventions are silly. Someone said, meanwhile, Leonardo DiCaprio won't date anyone over 25. That's part of it too. It's just like I realize like I'm so excited about ranting about this topic. I'm giving everything away. But like when you do have Adam Sandler in every single movie, you know, just getting with somebody who is so much, there's just a lot more effort put into her appearance or whatever. I understand why people have these criticisms in real life of like, why does it seem like women have to try so hard and the men can just, you could pick them up at the gas station. Be like, I found my new husband at the gas station. But like, the women have to literally look like celebrities. So it's not even really as simple as, oh, everybody is wrong and bad about this. I just think it's an interesting topic. I'm excited. I'm very excited. But that's enough for now. We'll talk about this later. Someone said thousands of flying insects have gone extinct. That's horrible. That's not good. I don't want insects to go extinct, even if they annoy me a little bit personally. But you know what? They were outside first. That's how I feel. Someone said I was worried you'd talk about Barry Keoghan. That man is going through it. Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't include him in this because I didn't think about him much. Barry Keoghan's an interesting case, though. Nobody actually agrees on whether he is ugly or not. So I didn't include him. And I think people like that are so interesting. To me, someone said, how am I feeling? I'm feeling better, thank you. I'm feeling all the way better. To me, I just find conversations about ugliness to be so dumb. Because, like, there are definitely people... It's arbitrary as hell. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at here. Like, not only is the beauty standard dumb, but it's also just very arbitrary. You know what I mean? Someone said, I think there's an element of women having more pressure to look a certain way visually. Bring that back up when I start recording, please. So remind you, bring that back up. Pete Davidson. I have Pete Davidson on here too. Yeah, I do. Reading. Someone said, it's not even that Lana's husband's ugly. She's literally obsessed with him and called out Ethel in her upcoming album for just posting with him on the photo. The thing is, I don't actually care about any of the details in this video. I'm mostly just talking about faces. I agree with what you're saying in that, or I actually don't know the context of what you're saying, but there's like, for each of the celebrity couples I'm mentioning, you could do like a drama deep dive rabbit hole thing. But if I did that for like 5 different couples, 10 different people, we would be here all day. So I'm actually purposely going to be avoiding the vast majority of drama conversations in this video, because it's just not my point for this one. Someone said, how long has the stream been going? Am I late? No, the stream has been going for 13 minutes and 1 second. And you are approximately 16 minutes and 54 seconds early. Someone said, you growing out your beard? No, I just chose not to shave before this stream because I don't have to. I don't have to do anything I don't want to ever, which is so fun. But also, I can't grow a beard, which is kind of sad. Kind of unfortunate. So I don't even have a choice, which is why I do shave. Someone said, what time does the video start? Check back in around 15-16 minutes and we should be rolling. Someone said, I don't know about ugliness, but I've noticed lots of older men don't do self-care because they see it as feminine. Bring that back up when I start talking about Jeremy Dufresne, because that's a really good point. Yeah, no, any good points that y'all have, bring them up, because I want to get into all of them in this video. Someone said, I've literally never seen an article about a way a man dresses unless it's them wearing a dress. Well, I guess it depends on like where you're looking. I get a lot of articles about the way men dress, but that's mostly just because I don't know, I'd be looking for fashion advice and stuff. Oh my gosh. Someone said, sorry for asking, I'm somewhat new. Did you mention somewhere what pronouns you prefer? I use he, him pronouns exclusively. I am non-binary and a man. So there you go. There you go. Someone said, did you see Benny Blanco's feet? Unfortunately. Someone said, will features and featureism relate to this discussion? I don't know what featureism means, like, off the top of my head, but are you talking about how just like certain facial features that people really do have in real life, and then it's not their fault, they get labeled ugly by society, and so then by having features that are not that, you can essentially have privilege, but if you are born a certain way, you get labeled ugly and underprivileged. If that's what featureism means, then yes. That's one of my points in my video for sure. And I'm very excited to talk about that, but I would have to Google that because I've actually never heard that term. Reading chat. Someone said it's Blanco, like Spanish for white. Oh, am I mispronouncing Benny's name? Does he do the A, like Benny Blanco? I should learn how to say it. Someone said yes. Okay, so it sounds like my guess about what featureism was correct, which I'm glad. Let's figure out how Benny Blanco pronounces his name. Benny Blanco pronunciation. So it's a Blanco. You saved me. Thank you. I don't want to go through a whole video mispronouncing a name. Wait, hold on. Let's get all of the pronunciations out of the way right now. That way I don't have to worry about this. So we've got hold on, I'm trying to pull up my things. Ethan Slater is just Ethan Slater. I can handle that one. I'm good on that one. Jay-Z, that is a very short name phonetically, so I think I'm not going to mispronounce this one. Benny Blanco, not Blanco. We've got that done and done. I don't want to sound stupid in my video. Pete Davidson. I know how to say Pete Davidson. And then I guess the one that maybe I'm not super confident in would be, someone said it's pizza. No, it's not. It's Pete. This would be Dufresne, right? Jeremy Dufresne? Surely that's how that's pronounced. I don't know who to like trust. Oh wait, this is an article from Louisiana. Okay, this will tell me for real. They say, wait, where is it? Dufresne? Oh, it depends on where you're saying it. Dufresne would be French. They're not actually answering the question. They're not actually answering the question. This is clickbait. Okay, I'm gonna go with Dufresne because I don't think that's a horrible mispronunciation. I don't think that's a horrible mispronunciation. Anyways. Oh, wait, we're talking about Barry, someone said who is Jeremy Dufresne? He would be Lana Del Rey's current husband. We're talking about, I don't actually 100% off the top of my head know how to pronounce this last name. Oh, I was saying this super bad, actually. I was saying this completely incorrectly. Hold on. Let me put my headphones on. Let me put them on. I'm going to put y'all on. I got to fix my audio or I'm not going to hear. And then I will be sad. Okay.
Barry Cogan.
Is this correct, chat? Someone please help me. That says Cogan. Here's a podcast clip from TikTok.
Oh, there's a lot of debate on how to pronounce Barry Keoghan's last name.
If worse comes to worse, you can still play the fiddle with 4 fingers, I bet ya.
And we got a lot of flack, like especially on TikTok, about how we said Barry Keoghan. So, I mean, we're American, even though we're a quarter Irish, we're not great with pronunciations. We're getting there. We're doing our best. But we're told by a lot of people that it's pronounced Keoghan or Keown.
Keowen or Keown. I don't think that's how most people pronounce his name. Somebody says he pronounces it Keoghan. Okay, we'll go with what Barry himself says. These might be other valid pronunciations, but I mostly just default to how people pronounce their own name. So people in chat telling me Barry says Keoghan. That's great. Also, I don't know why I'm verifying this because he's not even in my outline. So, but now I know how Barry Keoghan says his own name. Gosh. Someone said the Irish are bizarre pronouncing. Well, I feel like that's not fair. I agree with you that to me, Irish pronunciations are difficult to wrap my head around. However, English pronunciation is also horrific. Okay? The English language is not great for anybody. So I don't judge other people's like languages coming into them from the outside. I'm like, oh, you guys pronounce this weird. When we are over here speaking English, one of, in my opinion, the worst languages. Hands down. I hate every single spelling of every single word in English. I feel like it's spelled incorrectly and pronounced in a way that doesn't make sense. And also, it doesn't feel nice to speak. That's why I hate English so much, is because like just reasons. I can't get into it. But I don't have like, I can't speak anything else. So I can't explain what my problem is. I can only hear other languages and be like, oh, that sounds more like, you know, my idea of a nice language, but we're stuck over here. And then when people start making fun of Americans for the things that we do, I kind of agree with them, you know, getting in my car and, you know, and just, I don't know why we did what we did with vowels. Why did we do that? Why did we look at and say it's pronounced and when that's not even how other English speakers pronounce things? I'm so very deeply confused about American English, but this is the only one I know. It's the only one I know. Someone said bilingual people rise up. Yeah, I need to learn another language, man. I really, really do. Someone said you should hear Danish pronunciation. It makes no sense. Someone said, as someone with dyslexia and is bilingual in a language that uses the Persian alphabet, English is very wrong. Yeah, wrong with a capital W is how I would describe English pronunciation. It's so stupid. Someone said you can try learning Latin. True. I'll go speak it with, I was going to make a joke about like some historical figure who's dead, but then I couldn't even think like who spoke Latin. Save me. Some say it's so inconsistent. Maybe the inconsistency is what bothers me more than anything. Maybe that's what it is. Someone said no and no. Yeah, how is K-N-O-W and N-O, you know, the same pronunciation? Like missing with that. But then it's like, because you're pulling these from different areas and stuff like that, and for a long time English was like spoken commonly without having standardized spelling, which is the case for, I would assume, the majority of languages, right? But like, if you look at how English was spelled by people before it was actually standardized, atrocious, awful. Some of the worst stuff you ever seen was early English spellings. Oh my God, unreadable. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. Maybe you say what you will about the standardization, but it's a bad thing. Or it was a good thing in that case, because everybody was literally freestyling. They were just freestyling. How do you think that this word would be spelled with letters? And then they would just do whatever was in their heart to do. So then you crack open an old English book and you're like, what? It's so bad. Some say Irish isn't weird, it's just different, and if you don't speak it, you don't understand. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that languages are weird, except the one that I speak. I don't like that one, but that's just me. Someone said, are you planning on seeing the MJ movie? No, probably not. Honestly, like, setting aside any sort of personal controversies that these people may or may not have experienced, from a pure music perspective, I'm not super into the people considered to be the greatest of all time. Like Michael Jackson's music, for example. I recognize it as good music, obviously. But that's not, I guess, something that I put on my spare time. I feel the same way about the Beatles. And I know that Beatles fans constantly have to deal with like contrarian, party poopers being like, oh, actually, the Beatles are underrated. No. As somebody who currently produces music and is like sees the inescapable influence that the recording techniques that the Beatles may have pioneered in their music still trickle down and influence the majority of genres today. When I say, oh yeah, I don't really rock with the Beatles, it's more so I just don't enjoy listening to them. Period. It's not actually like I don't disagree with anybody's like perception of them as being super influential. I can see that. You can point it out and I'll be like, wow, that's crazy and stuff like that. But I'm just like, you put on the music and I'm just like, I don't know. I am not feeling it. And that's just me. That's my interpretation. That's my interpretation. Someone said Barry's going to be Ringo. Wait, hold on a second. That's a good point. This is technically all connected. So we're over here talking about the Beatles, and Barry Keoghan is they're making a biopic for some reason. No, they're making 4, right? Aren't they making 4 different Beatles biopics involving hold on, let me try to pull that up for us. I saw that and I was like, we're doing what? For what reason? And I'm probably not going to watch those either. Beatles biopics. Okay. The Beatles, a 4-film cinematic event. Okay, great. I'm just gonna pull this from Reddit because I don't know where else to find it. Paul, here, I'm gonna turn chat off so you can see. Paul Mescal is Paul McCartney. We've got Paul as Paul. I feel like that one's pretty good actually. He looks like Paul McCartney to me. Oh, this is such a blurry picture. Harris Dickinson is John Lennon. I mean, that's not like a horrible John. We can't really see him. Barry Keoghan is Ringo Starr. I understand. I do. I understand. But I'm like, is he? I'm sure like he's a really great actor, so it's probably a thing where like when he's acting, he's just going to transform into this person. And then I will feel silly for ever having doubted him. But I saw this picture and I was like, who is whomst and for what? And oh god, this is so blurry. Joseph Quinn is George Harrison. And so brother, 4 different biopics at getting greenlit at once. Also, this is an unpopular opinion that I have. It's unpopular amongst Hollywood people, even though I don't know if these movies are Hollywood, but you know what I mean. I'm tired of things getting greenlit in batches. Period. Stop greenlighting things in batches. Don't be like, oh, we signed a deal for a 5-season show. No. Sign things 1 season at a time. Don't be like, oh, we signed a deal for a new cinematic universe, including this number of Stop it. Move 1 movie at a time. Because here's what I think happens. When you sign a deal, like, and you have all of these things, you don't actually have to prove yourself anymore. You sign a 4-movie deal and then you're watching movie 3 and it's terrible, but they've already been locked in. Personally, I think that when things get greenlit 1 at a time, you have to make each thing good to continue. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just see things announced and I'm like, why is there a new cinematic universe when you haven't even established the... Hold on. This is a horrible analogy. It's so dumb. How y'all finna do a cinematic universe when the Big Bang hasn't even happened yet? You feel me? Like, nothing has been established that would justify the existence of 4 of these movies yet. Please put 1 out so then we can be like, oh, that was so good, we're clamoring for more. But alas, what can you do? Someone says this about the MCU. Dude, it's about everything, because I feel like everything is low-key trying to be a cinematic universe. Like this is a cinematic universe. A 4-film series that are probably going to be inextricably linked is a new Beatles cinematic universe that we're doing. And I'm just like, no, I reject Reject. Someone says the video started yet. I'm going to start in about a minute or two. Which Spider-Man is your fave? I don't know. Is Miles Morales like a boring answer? Because honestly, he's my fave. But like when I say that, that doesn't mean that I dislike any of them. I think all the current the Spider-Man that are currently in the popular, what am I trying to say here? The ones that are currently Spider-Man, which would be hella different people. I like all of them. I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And I also like Miles Morales as a character. So I don't really have like a super duper favorite Spider-Man. That's just me personally. Someone said no valid answer. Yeah, no, it's Miles Morales number one, and then everybody else is tied for also a good Spider-Man. I don't think I've ever like disliked a Spider-Man portrayal. Like there's Batmans that I don't like. It's a plural of Batman. I have no idea, but let me tell you something right now. Okay. And I know some of y'all finna disagree, and that is okay. I'm here to foster discussion. I'm here to foster differing opinions. This is not a good Batman. Ben Affleck was the wrong answer. He was the wrong choice. I genuinely don't understand. Like, even if I think about his reputation before this casting was announced, what did he do that made somebody think like Ben Affleck is going to be a really great Batman? Also, this is a really, really bad opinion. This is a bad opinion. But I think low key Robert Pattinson is definitely closer to what I think Batman is than somebody like Ben Affleck. I know that when he was announced, everybody got mad and they were like, no, pretty boy from Twilight, get him out of here. But like, Batman is a poser. And I'm not actually saying that Robert Pattinson himself is a poser. What I'm saying is like, Batman kind of is just like a dude in a costume. He's not a serious character to me. He is a serious character because horrible things have happened to him, but rich, privileged, vigilante type stuff. I'm thinking like this is somebody like Robert Pattinson who would already, be seen as a suave kind of like Riz. Someone said he's my favorite Batman. Yeah, no, literally. Because that's the thing about Batman. It's like he has to be charming outside. Why am I ranting about Batman right now? I'm so sorry. Listen, he's supposed to be charming outside of the suit. And that's how I feel about Robert Pattinson. It has to be a bit of a shock that somebody like this would put on this suit and do these things. So when I think about Ben Affleck, he doesn't really have that like Bruce Wayne Riz that you need to be Batman. Even if he was a good Batman, that wasn't the full character. So that's my opinion. And that's how I feel about Batman. But honestly, like, it's fun to speculate on. I don't really think there are horrible actors for these choices, obviously. I think it's funny that like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different people are being this one dude, which is hilarious. All right. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to go ahead and start recording. I'm going to start recording right now. All right, everyone say hi to YouTube. Well, I tried to explain to everybody what this weird video is going to be. Let me drink some water first. Why do beautiful women marry ugly dudes? Is a question that some people online have, and I would like to get into it today. You're getting an interesting video because I took a look at the things that were happening, definitely some more topical things that we could have discussed today. But I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time. I've been fascinated by this idea of what I call ugly husband syndrome, where you have these celebrity women marrying these dudes that people online feel like they could have just picked up at a gas station. What you're going to get from this video is not a deep dive, not any sort of breaking news drama. It's really just an exploration of what I think is like a fascinating trend. It's kind of funny, but then it's also elements to it that are not funny at all. So I was hoping we could discuss those today. All right, work with me. All right, let's go. All right, thank you everybody. Now I need Joe's help. So let's go ahead and start by defining some terms. I think that that's going to help this conversation a lot. What does ugly mean? And I'm being so for real right now. If I was to just do like a Merriam-Webster search for what does ugly mean? Unpleasant or offensive to look at. Morally offensive or objectionable. Oh, that's like a different kind of ugly. Very bad, inconvenient. I think we can start. We can stick to the first sense, which would be unpleasant or offensive to look at. I would like to start by saying I'm going to mention like 5 or 6 dudes in this video. I personally don't think any of them are ugly by this definition. I don't actually think most people are unpleasant or offensive to look at. And I think that it's a different word that's not necessarily in Merriam-Webster that people mean when they say, oh, this man is ugly. What y'all are really saying is he's not conventionally attractive. He in no way fits this standard vision of what beauty means. So let's go ahead and start looking at some of the men that I'm talking about. Or would y'all agree? Would y'all agree with my working definition of what I think people mean when they say, oh my gosh, Selena Gomez's husband is ugly? Someone said that's a mean definition. Yeah, no, like the one that Merriam-Webster's giving is just, that's so stupid. And it's not possible for me to actually apply it to people. But saying that somebody is not conventionally attractive is a thing. You are either conventionally within what society deems to be attractive, or you are not. And that's not actually a moral component. But it's been moralized so hard that you get all these weird conversations. So let's go ahead and start looking at some of these people. Take it from the top. Beyonce and Jay-Z. I want to start with them because I want you to know that no matter how problematic the human that I'm talking about is, billionaire, actual literal billionaire Jay-Z, I could actually spend the rest of a 45 or 90-minute video criticizing everything wrong with Jay-Z, but I'm purposely staying surface level here because I have like so many other people to talk about. Jay-Z 100% gets hit with the ugly husband accusations. Okay, let's roll out the rest of these couples and then we can start getting into these answers. We got Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez. Be honest. When y'all read the title and saw ugly husband in quotes, how many of y'all immediately thought about Benny Blanco just because of the things that people have been saying? I actually can't believe how common of a talking point this is. Images. The reason I need people to back me up is because, like, even though I usually don't talk about people's appearances in my videos, it's usually such a common talking point that I purposely ignore because I don't think it ever actually matters. Yet again, people that you 100% could criticize for any number of reasons, and unfortunately, this video topic was prompted by some weird discussion about Benny Blanco putting his dirty feet on a couch, which, yes, we're going to get into. There's so much overlap between being ugly or having bad hygiene or not looking a certain way. It's interesting. All right. Our next couple. Actually, this is not a couple. This is just one dude who constantly gets hit. Some say he looks like a normal person. I believe, and this is a part where they would say I'm an annoying virtue signaler, I believe everyone looks like a normal person. No matter what there is to say about Benny the man himself, and trust me, I'm about to say some stuff about this man, I actually genuinely in my heart believe that everybody looks like, on some level, a normal person. Why? Because I approach things from an art background. Okay, if that sounded pretentious, I'm being so for real right now. When I was a kid trying to learn how to draw people, they told me, they said, D'Angelo, you got to look at a bunch of images of people. So my whole life, I've constantly just been looking at so many faces, so many like models, not models as in, you know, Zendaya modeling Louis Vuitton on the red carpet. Models as in random people who will pose for you so you can draw them. I've constantly been inundated with actual, real, normal people. And that's why I kind of think everybody looks like a normal person. I haven't only been looking at what society says is beautiful for the past 27 years, if that makes sense. So getting into the next couple, actually, he's just a man by himself. Pete Davidson. So much discussion about Pete Davidson. And if you're wondering, how does he qualify as an ugly husband when he's never actually like married the people that we're talking about? You usually get contrasted this way when you are next to a woman that society considers to be very beautiful, like in Pete Davidson's case, Ariana Grande, and also a bunch of other people. Similarly, Selena Gomez obviously looks like Selena Gomez. Beyonce is actually Beyonce. So it's 100% part of this working theory. You can't just be some normal looking dude. You also have to be contrasted with a woman that is like, you know, there. Someone said, I've heard people say stuff about him. Thank you for confirming. This isn't just me pulling dudes that I think are ugly. I'm sticking with people who get these accusations all the time. And then lastly, I have Lana Del Rey and Jeremy Dufresne. Wait, did I say Benny Blanco wrong? Or did I say Benny Blanco? I have no idea what I said. If I oscillate between Blanco and Blanco, forgive me, but it's Benny Blanco. I looked up like all of these names before starting this video to make sure I don't mispronounce them, and that's probably sealed my fate. I'm gonna get all of them wrong. Anyways, lastly, we've got Lana Del Rey and Jeremy Dufresne, who it's actually kind of hard to find a decent picture of. Okay, here we go. So this is Lana Del Rey and her new man. Someone said people think Pete Davidson's ugly. Dude, people call Pete Davidson butthole eyes, which we're going to get into because I'm... Actually, that sort of leads me into my next topic. That sort of leads me into my next point. 10 times out of 10, not 9 times. Not 9 times. 10 times out of 10 when somebody is called ugly, you could actually pinpoint some kind of underlying bigotry. Honestly. And I don't think that's the same thing as not finding people attractive. Okay, here, let me make this really clear. Out of the 5 dudes that I just brought up, I don't find any of them attractive personally. So I'm not actually blaming people who are like, oh, I don't find this person attractive, I think they're unattractive. That's not what I mean when I say I get really weirded out when people get labeled ugly by society. What I mean is that let's start with Jay-Z, because he's pretty much the only one who I can talk about to any level of detail, because I know anti-blackness when I see it. I want to show y'all some of the things that people commonly say about Jay-Z as criticisms of why he's ugly. It's never just, oh, I don't find him attractive and that's why I say these things about him. It's literally like, I can't open Reddit. I don't know why this is labeled NSFW. It's literally just pictures of Jay-Z. Anyways, somebody posts him on a subreddit where people talk about celebrity appearances, and it's like, I can't find a single redeeming... Oh, wait. I just realized the chat was off this whole time. Okay, y'all are back. Y'all are back. I can't... Someone said, Jay-Z look critiques always feel anti-black to me. This is what I'm getting at, chatter. Random chatter, you understand me. I can't find a single redeeming feature in his face. He has good skin for his age, but that's it. His eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth, gum exposure, bone structure, chin, jaw, etc. are all awful. And you got OP saying he looks like a dog to me, etc. When I think about Jay-Z's eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth, gum exposure, bone structure, chin, jaw, etc., I just think he looks very black. I think that's something that many of y'all are quite unwilling to admit. Now, again, I'm actually not trying to force you to find Jay-Z attractive. That's not my point. I'm saying actually Jay-Z just has quite pronounced features that are commonly associated with black people. And the vast majority of the times that people talk about the things that they think are ugly, his big lips, we be having big lips. Objectively, it's a fact. Oh, I don't like his nose. Okay, but we be looking like that for real, for real, for real. It's like, it's a very interesting thing to me where you're certainly entitled to your own opinion, but have you considered where your opinions may be stemming from? Because it might not even be what you think it is. It could actually just be the influence of anti-blackness. Now, I'm going to get people in the comments saying, no, D'Angelo, he's just ugly. And it's like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. But I definitely stand by my point that it's not even as arbitrary as it sounds. A lot of times it's rooted in some stuff that would be a lot more difficult to pinpoint. So it just gets rolled into, oh, I don't like him, he's ugly. How do we feel about that before I move? before I move into the next topic? Help me out here. Someone said not the animal comparisons. Yeah, no. Comparing anybody to a dog. Well, okay, hold on a second. I think sometimes people do look like their dogs and it's really cute. Hold on. I wouldn't always be offended being compared to a dog. Wait, let me find a picture. People who look like their dogs. Images. Okay. This is funny. Is this real? There's no way this is real. Okay. What? This looks edited. Hold on, chat. I gotta, before I pull this up, I gotta make sure it's not weird AI. I hate AI so much. I can never know if pictures are like real or not. Never mind. This could be AI, but you know what? I'm gonna bring it up anyway. Sometimes people do look like their dogs. I think this is a real picture. Sometimes, listen, it's funny. I think like it's not always a horrible thing. However, if you were just like actually bar none saying, oh yeah, all of Jay-Z's facial features are horrible and he looks like an animal, you know what I mean? Someone said D'Angelo kind of reminds me of a Dalmatian. See, look, I ain't offended by that. You know why? Because Dalmatians are sleek as hell. Do you understand? Dalmatians be looking clean. They're snatched. They're definitely like, they have the gall and the gumption is how I feel about Dalmatians. Like, who actually told you to roll up looking like this? They looked at every single other dog and they're like, you are going to notice us. We're going to show up. None of y'all look like this. No, I'm not offended by a Dalmatian comparison. But yeah, no, you get my point is that, let me rephrase it this way. How come I notice oftentimes that criticisms of the way ugly black celebrities look overlap indistinguishably from just broadly offensive descriptions of black people? That's more so what I'm getting at. It's not actually that I think every single person saying these things has any sort of intention behind it. I just think when things like this happen, it's not actually a coincidence. If that makes sense. Someone said internalized racism. Yeah. Oh, okay, hold on. This video is not even about that. But dude, that could be sorry. I just started getting flashbacks. We could be pretty bad about that as well. In the black community, back me up. I need my backup right now. I'm talking to black people. We could be awful with the internalized anti-blackness. So much of our like, because it's foisted upon us and we are oftentimes like punished for not falling into these conventional standards. And so then you grow up thinking these things and you wind up like hating these elements about yourself. I know I definitely 100,000,000% have experience with that. Just growing up in a society that exists where like certain aspects of myself that I'm so worried about are literally just who I am and how we be looking, and I myself am like insecure over these things. Now granted, I let go of a lot of that stuff, and I'm working to let go of that stuff every single day. every single day I try to let go of some other bit of internalized racism within me. It's so bad. I'm still unlearning. That's what I'm saying. You can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're good and you unpacked all that stuff. And I would argue that like I don't know, just there's a different version of this no matter where you look, essentially. But I know what that looks like for Black people, which is why I kind of was specifically talking about Jay-Z. Someone said colorism. Colorism's a big thing too. Colorism is insane, of just like attaching any sort of like negative perception to the darkness of your skin for any reason is awful. But then also feeling this way about others while having dark skin is just no, it's bad. It's really, really bad. Reading chat. Someone said Ethan isn't ugly. I agree. None of the people I'm talking about, I believe, are ugly. Reading chat. Sometimes I used to relax my hair when I was younger. That's the other thing too. Like, people are totally free to, relax their hair, change things about themselves, but feeling like you have to, because like feeling like what you got is ugly. That's the sad part. Also, since we're here talking about Jay-Z, just to kind of prove that some of this stuff is not great. In this very thread where we're saying he looks like a dog or whatever, you get this one little throwaway comment where someone says he is very ugly and his daughter looks just like him. Blue Ivy. Y'all piss me off the way y'all talk about this child. See, I couldn't really prove it with Jay-Z because I'm not in a rush to defend an annoying billionaire. But the way that people have been talking about Blue Ivy Carter's appearance, Jay-Z's daughter, since she was actually born, people have been making disparaging comments about her since before she was born, just due to the possibility that she could have looked anything like Jay-Z. Here, let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. If there's one thing I would defend, it's a child. Maybe not celebrities themselves, because I don't care. I'm not getting paid to do this, but y'all are so nasty and weird about Blue Ivy for having similar facial features to her father. This is from years ago. Vanity Fair writer mocks 7-year-old Blue Ivy Carter for looking like her father, Jay-Z. Talking about, I have a feeling the Jay-Z face genes are about to really hit Blue Ivy, and I feel so sorry for her. Another journalist saying, oh, she'll just get plastic surgery at 16 like Kylie Jenner, and we'll all have to pretend that she always looked that way. I can't allow myself to feel too sorry for the incredibly rich. This is actually literally not about, this is 100% not about class. For a split second, I would say this is one of the few things where if you were talking poorly about the physical appearance of a then 7-year-old, don't pretend like this actually has anything to do with billionaires. This is insane to me that people have always been this way. And that is why part of the reason I've always found just this discussion to be uncomfortable. Can I say that, chat? Even if I don't sit here and say like, oh, it's racist, I've always been really uncomfortable seeing these conversations about Jay-Z and just thinking to myself, like, that's so weird how I know people who look like this. And also I could have just as easily looked like this. And I don't know. It's really painful. Someone says since she was a baby, 100% since she was a baby. It's been awful. Someone says she looks like her dad, but she is pretty. Yeah, no, she's a cute kid or whatever. But like, even if she wasn't, can we please talk about that? Actually, can we talk about that for a second? We're getting really lost in the sauce here. Blue Ivy has had this sort of like vindication where she actually kind of looks like her mom and dad simultaneously. And everybody let out a cognitive sigh of relief where they were like, oh, the kid is cute. But can we please talk about that? Even if she looked like a 100% clone of her father, it still would actually not be okay to make disparaging comments about her appearance. I know how I sound. That one friend who's too woke. I know this video is literally just me being this for like probably 20 minutes. I don't know why I'm saving this. I'm trying to open it in a new tab. I understand that I'm coming across this way, and I'm sorry, but these thoughts are in my mind. These feelings are in my heart. I can't help myself. Someone's having an opinion of someone else's appearance is weird. I would have to agree with you. Someone says she looks the way she looks. End of conversation. She didn't make herself look this way. Anyways, that's enough talking about Jay-Z for a second. One thing I would like to say is he's not cute. And I'm talking about his actual self, the person Jay-Z is. I know I said I wasn't really going to get into it in this video, but listen, this is so weak. In a song off 444 talking about ain't no such thing as an ugly billionaire. I'm cute. All billionaires are ugly. A-bow. Let's get that one popping. A-B-A-U. Every single billionaire is actually ugly by the real the real definition of ugly, which has nothing to do with conventional attractiveness, but rather being unpleasant or offensive to look at. All y'all piss me off. And trying to do any sort of capitalism but make it good for black people, I'm not finna defend you over this. This is insane. Also, Jay-Z in general just being like the CEO of black capitalism, it has to end. Talking about, nah, we did that. Black owned things, 100% black owned champagne. Talking about what's better than 1 billionaire? Wait, I missed it. 2. What's better than 1 billionaire? 2. Specifically if they're from the same hue as you. No, chat. There's a different number. There's an answer to this. I'm going to see if you pass this really simple math question. What number of billionaires is actually better than 1 billionaire? It's not 2. It ain't 2. Somebody said, I'm back. What did I miss? I'm saying that all billionaires are ugly. Yeah, I'll drink some water. I gotta drink some more. Someone said black capitalism will never save us. Someone says 0, 0, 0. Okay, look, you see all these zeros in the chat? This is the appropriate number of billionaires that we should be working towards as a society. Not multiple of them just because they happen to be black. That's not the right answer, chat. Not even a little bit. He says, y'all stop me when I stop telling the truth. Just stop right now. Jay-Z, you're wrong about this one. Trust me. Anyways, moving on from that. I have another point, and I'm sorry about this also sounding like annoying woke stuff, but a lot of times when people say that people are ugly, I find it super uncomfortable that the things that they talk about tend to overlap with medical issues. Listen, chat, I don't want to sound like, I'm usually pretty secure about my topics, but for this one specifically, you know, you have so many people on the internet telling you he's just woke, he's annoying, he's always virtue signaling. I feel like some of these opinions actually are unpopular, and I can tell by the sheer amount of people calling people ugly. But listen, I genuinely feel this way. It's uncomfortable to me as well that so many of the things that are considered ugly could actually just manifest because you happen to have certain illnesses or conditions when you were born. That is deeply uncomfortable to me, or things that you develop in real life, or not in real life, in later life that you can't control. I really don't like that at all. Let's talk about Pete Davidson a little bit, okay? I don't have it pulled up. The infamous Barstool Sports tweet that was so offensive. Ariana Grande herself reacted to it. Does Pete Davidson have butthole eyes? Which, I mean, you could just look at the dude. Bro just has eyes. Just has eyes with dark circles around them. And I don't know, like, this is just such a mean-spirited thing. And you had Ariana Grande jump to his defense because she was dating him at the time. And she said, oh, my computer's acting a little slow. I hope that doesn't become a thing. She said, y'all do know this man has an autoimmune disease, right? Like, you do understand what you're doing when you do this, right? I just want to make sure. And Pete Davidson himself said, a couple years after this incident, pause, about his eyes. I feel like this clip may be a little quiet, chat. You might have to turn this one up. Sorry. Put the captions on.
Did somebody say that?
People say I have butthole eyes because I don't sleep very much and I have Crohn's, so my eyes turn different colors. But I like it. I like my eyes.
I love your eyes.
I like looking like a raccoon. No, seriously.
Since then, there's been a lot of discussion about like, oh, Crohn's can't cause this, or it can cause this, or it's dehydration, this, that, the other. My point, as somebody who is not a medical professional and does not want to spread any sort of information about a disease that I don't know, is that the thing that people are calling ugly is often a symptom of various medical related conditions. Like, go to the Mayo Clinic and look at all these reasons for why somebody could possibly have dark circles around their eyes, fatigue, genetics, rubbing or scratching, skin changes, eczema, etc., changes in skin color, hyperpigmentation. Like, these aren't things that you do. Someone said, I don't know, I think eye bags are very attractive. Okay, I think I'm also offended. I'm personally offended by this one. Actually, I'm personally offended by this one. I don't deal with dark circles or bags or anything like that. However, I got people in my family who do. I have people in my family who do, and friends who do. And the reasons literally just have to do with the way that their skin is, or for some people, it's actually literally like thyroid problems. So just watching society deem this to be an unattractive trait, that's the kind of thing that sort of bothers me with a lot of this ugly criticism, is like, even if you think, and here, work with me on this one, chat. Someone said it's very stigmatizing. I agree. Even if you just think that you're dunking on one person, it's never just one person. That's the thing that bothers me. Oh, Jay-Z is ugly because his lips look a certain way. That wasn't just Jay-Z that you're pushing this narrative on. We don't like Pete Davidson. His eyes, we're going to compare him unfavorably to these other things. As if Pete Davidson is the only dude that looks this way. We're kind of getting to my initial point of like, everybody just looks like a normal person. It makes me so mad. Somebody said, look at Elle, so cute. I have dark so. Oh, wait, hold on. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hold on a second. Someone said, thank you for mentioning thyroid. Yeah, look, I don't experience thyroid issues, but someone in my life, one of my friends, deals with this, and this is, it can cause these things. And I'm just like, the thought of anybody calling that person ugly, I'm sorry, I would actually fight somebody over that. I really would. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Listen though, listen. Also, one conversation y'all really ain't ready for. This look is actually peak. That's the thing. That's the part of it where you're like, okay, Danzo, I can't agree with you anymore. I can't. You've lost me. No. Actually, this is low-key peak. And it, if you know, you know. The people who get it. But a lot of us saw this a long time ago. And we're like, you know what? That's really it. So validation for the people who have any sort of dark eyes or eye bags. I see you. I see that you're on that extra level. Okay? It's peak. It's pure Kino. Moving on from Pete Davidson. Let's see what I have up next to talk about. Ethan Slater. Someone said, I never saw this show, but he's serving. He definitely serves. Let's talk about Ethan Slater. Where is my picture of Ethan and Ariana? I think I have less of a tendency to defend Ethan Slater, mostly because, like, dude doesn't even have, like, he's not even conventionally unattractive. That's the most annoying thing to me about all of this, is like, what is there to actually defend? It's definitely just people in their minds saying like, oh, you have to, you know, Ariana Grande is Ariana, so this dude himself just looks like some dude. But listen, I actually think that's a valid criticism. I don't want to sit here and actually just run defense, as I said, for the average looking dudes of the world. I think I've shown this picture before on my stream, and I'm going to pull it up again. Ed Sheeran, Beyonce images. When I see people tired, it's this picture right here. This is such a good picture. Here we go. When I see people tired of just seeing dudes that just look like some dude next to women who are having to do the most, I'm like, you know what? I think that's a valid observation. So whereas I'm not here to say that Ethan Slater is ugly, I just think thinking to yourself, how come Ariana Grande has to be Ariana Grande, whereas Ethan just has to be some dude? But the thing is, I'm not arguing for Ethan to have to do this level of societal performance to be able to be accepted or whatever. I more so argue, I think Beyonce should have been able to get away with dressing like this. That's my main point right here. Someone says beauty standards. Yeah, no. It would be nice if instead of some people having to look, I don't know, people use numerical rating systems, 10 out of 10. I can't think of a dumber way of describing a person. I mean, saying someone looks 10 out of 10 is fine, but then saying like, oh, you look like a 9, an 8, a 7, that pisses me off. But saying essentially that you have to look peak all the time, whereas dudes can get away with anything, I just feel like we should all be able to dress like, I don't even know how to describe this. This is kind of giving like youth pastor a little bit. Definitely. Oh, I just opened the same image I have open right now in the same tab. Definitely like youth pastor energy. He's gonna sing a song about this is getting way too specific. I've been to Vacation Bible School one too many times. One too many times. Someone said, why are we still rating people? Yeah, no, I hate this rating system, but I feel like I want to acknowledge people's frustration of feeling like, why do we have to look a certain way, whereas guys can get away with the bare minimum? Does that make sense? Back me up on this, chat. Back me up on this. And then also I want to talk about youth pastors in a second because I'm getting distracted. And I've actually been on topic for 32 minutes. 32 minutes. But no, let me know if y'all know what I'm saying. Someone said he's just a bad guy. Wait, hold on. Can we talk about that? I actually agree with the concept of the ick. Whereas again, I would not label this person ugly because of the way that he looks or whatever. I agree that because of what he did, he gives me the ick. Period. Listen to me. Jay-Z also gives me the ick, if I'm being quite honest with you. I want to validate that right quick. If you're looking at these weird dudes who do strange things like cheating on their wives or, you know, pushing capitalism, being billionaires or being associated with all these things, and you're just like, I'm sorry, he just gives me the ick, D'Angelo. No, me too. Me as well. I myself just see it as a separate thing that doesn't actually have much to do with your facial features or the way that you look, okay? Somebody said association ick. Also, I believe people can become ugly to you visually when what's in their heart is wrong. Okay? That is, now I'm actually literally talking about vibes. I'm just talking about vibes. It's happened to me. It's happened to me where somebody was fine. They were okay. I did not have a strong opinion of them one way or the other. And then they exhibit some sort of behavior. And I'm just like, you ugly. I find you offensive to look at now. And it has to do with the person that you are, not the things that you can't control. So let's just throw that out there. Somebody said agreed. I'm glad y'all are understanding where I'm coming from with this. The dude is a creep. You're just so weird for what you did, okay? And anybody who feels that way looking at you, well, you did that to your darn self. Let's talk about the things that people do, not what they can't control. Anyways, youth pastors. I'm taking a break 34 minutes in to get distracted. Who here has gone to Vacation Bible School? Oh, actually, who here knows what Vacation Bible School is? I've never even talked about my experience with Vacation Bible School because I don't like, oh yeah, this is all very familiar to me. Okay, so Vacation Bible School, me saying Ed Sheeran kind of looks like a youth pastor a little bit. It's this like event that churches will throw for you, the kids. Because churches usually, I don't know, if you don't go to church, you may not know this, but many of the churches I went to often had separate areas for the kids to be in, just so I don't really know why. But so they would behave better or be stimulated intellectually while their parents are listening to a boring lecture or whatever. And so it's not just during church. It's not just during Sunday that you cordon the kids off and have them go, you know, with the people who are helping them do Sunday activity. Sunday school. Sunday school. That's what it's called. I totally forgot. It's called Sunday school. That's usually what it was called in the churches I went to. Vacation Bible school is like, what if we did Sunday school during the summer? Now, yours may not have been during the summer. It may have been during a different time, but mine, it was often during the summer. And what you would do was you would essentially take a theme, whether that was like some sort of jungle theme or some sort of like an ancient times theme or whatever, and everybody would put a bunch of work into it, and we would all have to make crafts. And I don't know, you put out snacks for the kids. And when I describe it, I'm like, did that really happen, or is that something that I just made up? Because it sounds really interesting. Now, here's one thing I want to say. And this might be a little unpopular with some of y'all. A lot of the people who ran these things are really nice. I know that I spend a lot of time talking about Christianity as it's weaponized against people across the world, but especially here in my country. And so I have a lot of smoke for like organized religion being used to control what other people do. However, actually, a lot of the people who ran VBS were really sweet. They were volunteering. They didn't have to do that. It's not something that people were really getting like paid for a lot of times in the traditional sense. A lot of times there's really young people helping out, just like watching the kids. I don't know, like, yes, obviously all of this being done in the context of religious instruction for the youth. Dude, it's not something that I would send a kid to nowadays, but I think back about a lot of the Christians that I knew and I was like, you know what? They were nice people. And I'm really glad that I didn't know what their politics were or what politics was. I'm actually genuinely glad that I was ignorant as a child, because to me, Christianity was just really nice. It was just people being nice to each other. But then you sort of see like, oh, it can manifest in these other ways. But yeah, Vacation Bible School, this is a real thing. This happened. This is, I'm not making this up. I went to several of these. And then what happens, this sucks. You're a kid and you get to go to Vacation Bible School, but then when you get older, they make you help instead. Now imagine how unfair that is. At first, you're just like, oh, this is a retreat, essentially. Yeah, well, let's go to church every single day of the week during the summer. And we get snacks and we get to do crafts. But then you hit a certain age and you're like, oh, there's no age range for you. So you actually have to like set up the tables. You have to put out the snacks. You have to fill up the apple juice. You have to like make sure the kids aren't like cutting their fingers off with safety scissors and stuff. And I was just like, I never wanted to help. I'm sorry. I never wanted to help nobody's kid. Let me just be clear about that. I don't care how that makes me sound. I've always been the same way. This is why I don't have any children. I never wanted to help nobody's bratty kids. That's not in my heart. Jesus didn't put that in me to do. I was like, this is awful. Someone said VeggieTales. Oh my God. Okay, this is the last thing I'll say before we go back to calling people ugly. Just kidding. If you just saw in the chat, I'm not calling anybody ugly. Oh my God. Like, wait, also, why do they look like this now? Okay. I'm so tired of everybody from my youth getting a glow up. I'm so over it. Okay, so VeggieTales, for those of you who don't know, even though I'm sure all of you know, is a Christian animation designed for kids to learn Bible stories and sing goofy songs and stuff like that. Bob and Larry. But then I guess at some point, they got this makeover? Why? They looked fine. Also, I feel the exact same way about the new Toy Story. Sorry, I sound like one of those... I sound like one of those losers who looks at the way characters look in video games and just starts raging. No, they included women in this game. No, that's not what I'm actually talking about. Listen to me. I need you to listen very closely. Why did they give Jessie a random glow up? I saw this on the poster and I got so mad. Hold on. Open image in new tab. Okay, here's how she looks in the new one. Chat. That's not how she looked. I swear to God, this is not Jessie. Who is this? Hold on. Jessie, Toy Story 2. All right. See, she looks pretty similar. I think this is her from Toy Story 2. Hold on. I don't know how to actually find her from Toy Story 2. Okay, here we go. Okay, look. I know it's old animation. Okay, I know it's old animation. But why did they hit her with like the soft Disney filter? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not actually saying she looks that different. She really doesn't. But everything just gets like softer and cuter and easier to digest. And I'm just like, why? Somebody said replaced by a younger model. This is literally like Jessie 2. I know there's people watching this and they're like, D'Angelo, you lost me. There's no difference between these two character models. D'Angelo, please come back to Earth. I can't explain this to you. I was born in 1998. Okay, I have watched this movie more times than I have probably, I don't know, watched. I can't even think of how a perfect analog for how much of my time I spent seeing this character as a kid. When I tell you, I see her right here, and I'm like, bro. Someone says she doesn't look like plastic anymore. No, you're right. That's kind of what it is. It's like she kind of looks human-esque? No, it's so weird. The substance. Jessie took the substance. Oh no, not the substance. Okay, that's what it is. Jessie unfortunately took the substance. I'm wrapping it up because I can't make this any funnier than it was. Let's get back to the topic. Somebody says she looks fake. Yeah, which is funny because she is fake. But anyways. Let's go back to Ethan Slater. I'm going to close my tab about VeggieTales. I'm going to close my tab about Vacation Bible School. And I'm actually going to give you a reason. Here's the reason that I find Ethan Slater to be strange. It's not because people say he looks like SpongeBob because he played SpongeBob on stage, which I just think is funny. I think that's funny. But that's not actually my main thing. I think my main issue that I've never actually been able to get past is that he kind of looks like Ariana Grande's brother a lot. Sorry, I realize my voice is getting really quiet. I feel like I tend to get really quiet when I start making weird points. I'm sorry, but I can't. Dude, I don't think they look identical. Sorry, I'm literally whispering because I'm uncomfortable. I don't think they look identical by any means. That's not my point. I think the main reason that Ethan freaks me out is because I'm like, Ariana, he kind of looks like your brother. So that's the main reason why I avoid pictures of those two. It has nothing to do with ugliness at all. It's no. Somebody said, why are you correct? No, look, I was not the first one to notice this. Someone pointed it out. And usually when people say like, oh, these people look alike or whatever, I just don't think that that's even usually the case. But I saw this and I was like, okay, you know what? Wrap it up. I was done for the day. I'm pretty sure I closed whatever tab I was on and I moved on with my life. Someone said it's the face shape, the eye shape. No, for real. Also, I don't want to talk about any other celebrities right now because this could turn into a whole rabbit hole. I could never actually date anybody who even like reminds me of my siblings. Like, obviously, it's very unlikely that Ariana was thinking anything about her brother. This is some other man. So let's stop talking about them for a second. I'm just talking about the general idea of anybody having any sort of similarity. If I even feel like y'all have the same vibe or y'all walk the same way, I'm just like, I'm sorry. You're my little brother too. Well, I don't know if that's her little brother, but I only have little brothers. Same thing. I'm like, okay, you kind of remind me of my sister a little bit. So you're now my honorary sister and will continue to be forever. I can't do it. Someone said sign of a good couple. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. 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 I see that a lot actually. That people seek out people who like kind of look like them a little bit. And I've always just been baffled by that one, because you're not wrong. There are definitely many, many loving couples who have been together for hella long and are great or whatever. But like, they do kind of look related a little bit, and it's not their fault. That's not something you could help. I've seen suggestions that people actually subconsciously like seek this out. And I try to think about myself, and I'm like, I feel like if somebody looks like me, and the thing is like, someone said attraction and similarity, probably. Someone said my wife and I get sibling allegations regularly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not even trying to like judge you right now, because this does happen in real life. It really does. And I'm like, I feel like I must just not see it. Wait, hold on. Let me ask you this. Commenter who said that you and your wife get sibling accusations. Do you think you look like your wife? That's the only thing I want to know about these couples. Do y'all think that you look similar? That's the thing I've never known. I feel like if people say this about you, but you're like, oh, I don't really see it, then that's understandable to me. It's understandable to me. Someone said, so interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. Someone said psychology 101, unfortunately. I guess so. I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird because you're not related, period. It's not weird to date somebody who's not related to you. That was my hottest take ever. It's not weird to date someone who's not related to you. Also, I don't like, who actually looks like me, chat. I'm not trying to do the thing where like I talk myself up, but I feel like so many people have celebrity lookalikes and I don't, and it makes me sad. I don't have a doppelganger, so I can't even like, I don't know. I'm not a really particularly unique looking individual by any means, but I also feel like I've never met anyone who looked similar enough to me that we would get hit with like sibling accusations, if that makes sense. Someone said I look like your OC. Well, you're OC, you know, I can't help that in real life. Someone said RuPaul. No, here's the thing, we're talking about RuPaul right now. The thing is, I don't look like RuPaul. I think I have outward characteristics that are identical to RuPaul, which are hilarious. I'm bald, snatched, wear a lot of pink, and you know, I understand the RuPaul comparison, but facially it's like not actually there. You know what I mean? Facially we don't actually look alike, similar to how when I used to get hit with like the Whoopi Goldberg comparisons all the time because my hair looked a certain way, and I was like, I see what y'all are saying. Okay, look, I put on glasses like these, and then I grow my locks out a little bit, and y'all are saying Whoopi Goldberg. That's a superficial comparison. I am asking you for a face match. Who do I actually look like? For 27 years, I've been trying to find a celebrity look-alike. Someone said facially, it's not there. Yeah, no, we just don't look alike, man. We don't. Someone said Jaden Smith. I literally look nothing like Jaden Smith. Not even a little bit, man. Like, again, we skinny. We have the same shade, I believe. We have the same shade. But you know what, though? If I did start dating Jaden Smith, which would never happen because I would never... No. People would hit us with the sibling accusations, probably. So, like, I don't think the thing is that you even have to look identical to the person you're dating. I think you just have to look similar enough to them. Look, okay, here. There's only one person, chat, that I've thought that I sort of maybe look similar to. But I don't want y'all to call me delusional. I really don't. Because this person is literally a model. And I don't want to sound like an idiot, okay? I don't think we actually look alike. I don't think we actually look alike, especially in a lot of our pictures. I just think when I was younger, we had a similar face shape and stuff like this sometimes, especially back when both of us had more, you know, baby fat or whatever. But like at this point, we don't really look anything like each other either. So it's someone said I'm valid for this. Yeah, I have slightly thought that maybe sometimes I can potentially resemble this person, but that's not actually the same thing as looking like him. I don't think I look like him. No one's ever going to think like, oh yeah, that's Luca from the runway. No, it's really not me. Someone said I see it. Yeah, no, it's so like, it's more of a vibe than an actual look. I don't look like this dude. It's so funny. Someone says like if you and Childish Gambino got mixed together. Someone said that's just Childish Gambino. Okay. Maybe there's an argument that they look like two different celebrities, but that's enough. That's enough for now. I just realized I don't need to look like anybody famous. I am famous. Actually, there's a lot of y'all who probably get compared to me now that I'm thinking about it. I forgot about that. I was like, because initially when I was younger, I was like, public figures. I want known public figures, people whose faces are public who I look to. And I was like, wait a second. Never mind. I can just be the famous person that I look like. So anyways, let's move on to my next point. Obviously, when I say I'm famous, I'm talking about on the internet. That is to say, not famous at all. But in my own way, I do have quite a well-known face. All right. Let's talk about Jeremy Dufresne. Let's talk about this man right here. Wait, I lost him. Lana Del Rey, Jeremy Dufresne. This is the last guy I got. Images. Someone say you are a public figure. I am a little bit. Okay. Wow, he really wears these sunglasses like a uniform, man. He's definitely a certain kind of person. Okay, and when I say a certain kind of person, I'm talking about the people that I was surrounded with all the time. Again, like half of my family is from Louisiana. And when I tell you that the camo, like the Realtree camo hat with like the UV polarized sunglasses, this is a uniform for a certain kind of Southern man. It is an actual uniform. Do you know how many different dudes wake up every single day and put this exact outfit on? That's what I mean by a certain kind of person. Anyways, someone said he wasn't MAGA. No, hold on. We're going to talk about that in a second. So before anybody even knew who he was, or who this guy actually, like, what his opinions were or whatever, he immediately got hit with like the ugly accusations and this, that, the other. Now, I will say this. Earlier, before I started streaming, somebody had said in my chat, they think that part of what causes this is that a lot of men don't do self-care because they think that it's feminine. I would like to say, I don't think dude is ugly. I think dude needs sunscreen yesterday. 70% of what people are talking about is actually, in my opinion, just low-key sun damage. So again, I'm not like, oh, this is a particularly offensive to look at person. I'm just like, oh, he ain't never put a lick of that's also a Southern thing too. Okay. I hate to say this, but we in the South, a lot of us, we just don't rock with sunscreen. We just don't care. No, I'm fixing this. I'm using, I don't want to say the product. It's not a promotion, but I use SPF product on my face whenever I go out in the sun. Someone said SPF minimum. Yes, I'm trying to fix myself, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I was younger, we do not care. Take your average Texan. This guy's from Louisiana, but take your average Texan. I'm sorry. We are not putting on sun protection to go out in the sun for 5 minutes. But that's bad. That's bad. I'm changing my thinking on that because I learned that it's unhealthy for me. It's unhealthy. Also, someone said you look like you've been using sunscreen all your life. Don't worry. Thank you. I definitely turned my skin around. Also, like, Everybody needs sunscreen. Everybody. It don't matter. It don't matter who you are. Someone said, and when the sun isn't out, wear it daily. Oh, you could feel the southerner in me fighting back against you. You're correct. You're correct. Daily protection. Just because you can't see the sun doesn't mean that its rays are not affecting your skin and your health. But also just the thought of me. I hate that I grew up in Texas. I really, really, really do. But anyways, someone said the sun is a deadly laser reference. Nice. But anyways, getting back into this. Some say it's getting hotter and hotter down south. It's genuinely a good thing to keep in mind, especially during the summer. Yeah, this is a great time to start your sun care routine. Roll it into what you're doing right now. But oh my god, I'm not as good about sunscreen. I'm not as good with sunscreen as I could be, but much better than I used to be. All this to say, because Jeremy Dufresne has a certain kind of southern, shall we say, aura about him, there was a lot of discussion about what his politics were. I don't think many of Lana Del Rey's fans would have wanted to, support somebody who was marrying some sort of MAGA Republican or whatever. Now, again, instead of actually me breaking down whether he was or was not MAGA, because this is not a drama video in the traditional sense, I more so want to point out that people were rolling his potential political affiliation into the way that he looked in a way that I find to be really strange. You have people online just saying, I just don't get it. I will never get it, as their reaction to them getting married. And someone saying he's transphobic. He's exactly Lana's type. And someone saying there are way better looking transphobic dudes. I'm sure of it. And so it's like, you could almost take out the political context of this, and you're still left with the implication that if she was going to date this one type of person, she should have chosen a better looking one. And I just find that to be really, really strange. I do find it to be really odd. Reading chat. Someone said, isn't Lana a bit MAGA vibes too, though? Okay, hold on. Listen, chat. I'm not... Don't turn it into a drama video. But listen, this doesn't count as drama because I've talked about this before. I've had beef with Lana Del Rey for the longest time, literally over this. The mask thing, which she cleared up after the fact, and said had like a clear protection, if I remember correctly. That's what she said. I don't actually remember the details because this was during COVID and I don't remember anything that happened during COVID. But from jump, I've always been like, you know what? I'm not going to look into this too deeply, because shiny see-through masks or like masks out in public in 2020, literally 2020. Again, I'm not trying to bring up 6-year-old drama because I don't even remember the context, but I just want to say, whether we're dealing with MAGA people or not, which I don't know, I just still find it odd, this idea that she should pick a better looking man, because what is it actually saying? What does that actually mean? What is the implication here? If we rewrite this video, we only have one more dude to talk about. Don't worry. If you're so tired of hearing about like crusty dudes, because you know what? He is crusty. Listen. I'm not here to make disparaging comments about things that you can't change. But I will say, having crusty vibes, that is a choice. You can uncrust yourself. And I want men as a species. We're not a species. Men as an institution. I wish we would uncrust ourselves a little bit. You get really far in life where you stop being okay with looking crusty. But anyways, if you're tired of crusty men, don't worry. We only have one left to talk about. But I don't know. Thoughts on this idea that if you are a beautiful person, someone said, didn't he cheat on his wife with Lana? I couldn't tell you. I actually don't know. I'm not in Lana Del Rey's fan base. Maybe that did happen. But listen, thoughts on this idea that if you are a beautiful person, you're essentially degrading yourself by dating someone who is not conventionally attractive. Can we talk about this? Please. That's the thing that I find to be really common, actually, is she's out of your league. He's out of her league, even though you don't usually hear that one. This idea of there has to be equal levels of attractiveness when people are dating each other. I find it to be really, really weird. Reading chat. Someone said, I hate it. It's messed up. Yeah, no. Reading chat. I find it to be strange, as common as it is. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Someone said you're right, and why is it always women? Yeah, that too. It's a huge thing to talk about. Okay, I'm glad my next topic makes sense. I don't believe in any sort of equal level of attractiveness between couples or trying to like create that or make that happen in your life, because I personally believe, someone said, please talk about it. It's been making me so insecure lately. Okay. Y'all have to understand that being conventionally attractive is a fluke. It's a fluke. It's not a moral win. It's not a good thing that's happened. It's actually just a random coincidence. Now, granted, it also kind of goes really, really hand in hand with having money as well. Also, being conventionally attractive can be a byproduct of being rich because you have the ability and privilege to make yourself align with the beauty standard. But putting people on a pedestal because of some fluky thing that is actually out of their control, I've always found that to make no sense whatsoever. And by extension, you're taking the person who does not fit in society's idea of conventional attractiveness and putting them down. Again, this is over a fluke. Someone said it's a lottery. It's literally lottery. Because here's the thing. When someone said genetic lottery, that's not even the only thing. It's not even only that your genetics, you can't control whether you fit in the standard. The standard itself is a lottery, y'all. It changes. It literally changes at random. If you look at look, if you look at some of like beauty standards throughout history, I don't want to actually go through these because I don't know anything about beauty standards throughout history, but you look at things that have been considered attractive in different places or through different times or whatever. I just realized YouTube's probably going to be weird because I showed Kim K wearing Skims. These are clothes, YouTube. She's not naked. Anyways, it's literally a coincidence that the beauty standard is what it is right now. It changes on a whim. How many people have actually noticed that the beauty standard has changed again recently? There's a lot of videos about this. There's a lot of talk about what is happening right now with the beauty standard in Hollywood. It's swinging back. Someone said we go from skinny to thick and back. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It is literally, as we speak, shifting back into a very thin, unattainable for most people sort of look. People are getting surgeries in their face. People are doing different things with their bodies right now to try to fit into this new standard. It's changed again. So even if for a split second you actually were conventionally attractive, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. That is going to flip on you. It's going to switch. Someone said we're back in the skinny era. We're definitely back in the skinny era, and it's really disturbing. The beauty standards even being body trends, the idea of a body being something that could even be a trend, and you being off season because your body doesn't look the way that the famous version looks now. It's very disturbing and strange to me. I really hate it. Someone said my thin lips will never be in style. That's why you just got to own them, honestly. And I know that that's easier said than done. But that's honestly why you got to be like, I don't care if y'all want like overlined lips or filler lips or I don't know, natural looks or whatever. You just got to be like, well, these are my lips. And I am just going to talk my talk regardless of how they look. Someone said as soon as I got thick, being skinny was back in. Nah. Someone said it doesn't change much for men though, honestly. I agree with you that it does not change at the rate that it does for women at all. I agree with you. I do, as a man, feel like the beauty standard for men has actually changed quite a bit into something that is bizarre. And it's really confused and complicated right now, but you're definitely correct. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. That it doesn't change as much for men, but beauty standards for men changed too. At one point, you're supposed to look like, I don't know, like the ideal body is constantly shifting for men as well, slowly, not at the same rate that it does for women. And it sucks. It's annoying. Someone said men is more the hairstyle, hunter eyes. God, I'm so tired of like the hunter eyes discourse. I see this one a lot too, of like, let me see, hunter eyes. Even just this term of trying to have hunter eyes or hunter eyes being more attractive or whatever. Like, brother, you cannot control this. You can't control this. You have, or you kind of can, but you don't want to do that through any of those means. Like, why would one thing be considered more attractive than the other? It's so dumb. Someone said, what the heck is hunter eyes? Hunter eyes is this idea that instead of having round shaped eyes or whatever, which is prey, I guess, apparently it's more attractive to have like these sort of more straight, wolf-like eyes that guys get mad at themselves for not having because they consider those to be attractive in the looks maxing community. So, whereas I agree with you that the beauty standard for women, crazy. Back and forth like a tennis match. Men are also going through it right now. We are also just like, brother, what am I supposed to do to my eyes? Also, like, I got pretty eyes regardless. So, blink, 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 you know, on some Betty Boop stuff. Like, I don't really care one way or another, but seeing these trends that I could never possibly fall into is hilarious to me. Someone said it's so dumb. Dude, it's beyond dumb. It is insanely stupid, actually, to me personally. It's just, and this is what I'm talking about, lotteries. These are lotteries. You can't control these things. So, whenever you see, the next time you see somebody who is not in the convention getting shamed or clowned or put down or whatever because they're next to somebody thinking, or somebody who society sees as beautiful or whatever, just think to yourself, honestly, like, this could have been a different century and it would have been reversed. That might be cope, but I'm genuinely telling you, that's the best way I found of dealing with this. Of just being like, I am actually not like forever ugly or whatever. It's just what is or is not in, which has nothing to do with reality at all. That's how I feel about it. Reading chat. Someone said, but they hate Asian monolid eyes. Well, yes. Actually, that's a weird thing about a lot of beauty trends, is that when they can naturally occur just due to who you are, but you happen to be, you know, actually, why am I talking in code right now? When all types of amazing facial features manifest in different people of different races or whatever, that's not actually celebrated. But a lot of times the beauty standard is, how can you have this one thing that people associate with other races while not being, you know, essentially while still being white. I see that one a lot. I definitely see that one a lot. And it pisses me off because I'm just like, everybody wants, like, it pisses me off actually so bad. It makes me really, really mad when I think about it. It's so bad how it's like, oh, y'all really want like what y'all consider to be the very outside of me, but while actually hating people's insides is so lost on me. It's so lost. Like, I could never imagine actually going through life this way, but that's just me personally. Someone said darker skin. Yeah, dude, like, truly think about, why is having darker skin an ideal if you don't have darker skin? It doesn't make any sense. But then if you actually do have this naturally, it's a bad thing. Y'all want to be like bronze gods or whatever, and this, that, the other, tan to the nines and this, that, the other. But it's like, God forbid you just naturally have a certain level of melanin, because then it's like, oh, nobody actually wants that. Oh man. Actually, I'm gonna bring up a controversial lyric here, and it kind of explains what I'm getting at here. Let me see if I can find it. This is from, oh, never mind, I'm not gonna find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Hold on, wait. I heard this in the song once. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm not going to read this one out loud, chat. I'm not going to read this one out loud because YouTube's going to get a little bit mad. But everybody want to be black. Don't nobody want to be a... Listen, all I'm saying is I could off the top of my head name 5 celebrities that this applies to. Men, women, like without even thinking. I could probably name 10 if I thought for another 30 seconds. It's very strange having the outside of you essentially be considered to be who you are while also being erased. I really hate it. And I think about this lyric all the time. It's kind of divisive, so I don't go around saying it, but that's how I feel in my heart. In my heart, that's how I feel. Everybody want to be black, but there's something that y'all don't want to be reduced to in your minds, and you would never allow it to get that far. But as close as you can get from a superficial perspective, it pisses me off, man. Anyways, someone said not wrong there, right? Yeah, no, they want the culture, but not the people. Yeah, beauty standards are stupid. All right, moving on. The last dude that we have. I have to give y'all a soft trigger warning for, like, I'm sorry, this is gross. This is so nasty. So Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, and this is kind of what I misspelled Gomez, prompted this in the first place. Images. So again, from a distance or without looking into them too much, they're absolutely fine. He's fine, just a normal looking guy, but he's kind of gross, I think, is a lot of the discussion about him. And I'm like, you know what? That's a valid, that's another thing. I'm like, that's a valid discussion. That's not the same thing as being ugly. I find it often gets rolled into, oh, he looks bad and he's no. I don't feel like, God, I really hope this doesn't open into a jump scare. I don't want to flash feet on main. Benny Blanco fans melt down after he exposes dirty feet and puts them on Lil Dicky's couch. I know that's kind of a curtains for Zusha moment. Do y'all know what curtains for Zusha means? Because it's so funny. Curtains for Zusha. It's really funny. Someone tweeted one day, I'm 50. All celebrity news looks like this. Curtains for Zusha? K-Smog and Bat Boycott flipping a grunt. I know when I say Benny Blanco under fire from Selena Gomez fans for putting his dirty feet on Lil Dicky's couch. It's like, what does that actually mean to a person with a life? But I'm just telling you, he recently went on a podcast which reignited this whole debate about him being gross for her or whatever. And I absolutely hate, I'm sorry. I'm sure they have a picture here. Lord, give me strength. I'm trying to access something within me that will allow me to give nuanced and normal sounding commentary. Brother, I can't defend this. I can't defend it. You're ruining my entire video right now. This is actually gross. Because here's the thing. Humans have feet. You walk in a dirty floor, they're going to get dirty. But if you come into my house I don't know if he was at Lil Dicky's house or Lil Dicky was at Benny Blanco's house, and you put your nasty feet on my white couch. Y'all might be thinking to yourself, D'Angelo, that couch is great. Any shade above dark black is a white couch when it comes to you putting your nasty feet on there. If you don't get your nasty feet off of my white couch right now, brother. And then it's just a bunch of other things that people talk about with Benny Blanco. Like, this screenshot was pulled right after he like farted into the microphone, which, like, I'm not talking about like, oh, he passed gas. This is the thing that humans do. Let's all shame this man for having bodily functions. No, he was literally like, oh, hey, can your mic pick this up? Puts it near where you would have to put it to pick it up. And I'm just like, if you think I'm going to sit here and defend Benny Blanco, that's never happening. That's never going to happen. This is gross, actually. And despite Selena Gomez constantly running defense for this man, I'm like, I can't do it, Selena. I'm so happy that you're happy. I really am, but I can't defend some nasty dude. I really can't. I think the thing is too, like, he's been under flack for this. From jump. Selena, please break up with him. So there's this BuzzFeed article about this from 2024. I don't want you to think that I'm just making these things up. This is discourse that has existed in the most pointless corners of the internet for years. And after he gave his thoughts about showering or not showering, people were just kind of like, what is happening here? What is going on? So he said, don't stink. Well, I agree. So far, this is good advice. You should not go through this world stinking. Someone said, I didn't sign up for this. Listen, at least I didn't play you the fart clip, okay? I think about your feelings a little bit. Sometimes I do think to myself, if I suffer, everyone's gonna suffer. Part of this video existing was just me like, oh, there's no way that I get subjected to this picture and it's only me. But at least we're not diving into the podcast fart video, because why would I ever show you that? But listen, he said, it's not just that he believes you shouldn't stink. He said, I don't believe in always shampooing your hair or conditioning your hair. I'm really clean, but I don't shower every day. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I know that people get really weird about that. About people like not showering every day or washing your hair every day. First of all, not everybody should be washing your hair every time you shower, and you don't always need to shower. I mean, you should be clean every day, so you might need to wash up, but like an actual full body shower every single day, I've seen people be really weird about that. And I'm like, actually, let's talk about that right now, chat. How do we feel about daily showers? Because this is a level of discourse that is very real. This is a hot button issue. A lot of y'all are concerned right now about the state of the world, as you should be. You're concerned about politics, as I am deeply. But I actually need to know how you feel about daily showers. Someone said I'm going to rewatch some Hygiene Olympics commentary vids. Yeah, no, definitely. I think sometimes I feel like people get a little bit performative when it comes to talking about how clean they are. Y'all finna clip this and say D'Angelo's gross. No. Actually, chat, sometimes I shower multiple times a day. Anytime that I feel gross, I'll shower because I have sensory issues and I feel like I'm going to die. That's why I shower probably more than I actually need to. So this isn't coming from somebody who doesn't think you need to shower. A lot of y'all are just really, 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 really performative, acting like y'all will never be caught dead like a normal human who was like, oh, I haven't showered in 24 hours. Now, some of you do shower daily, and I'm not knocking you. I'm not knocking you. If you shower daily, that's good. And that is not a bad thing, but people can be really weird about it. It's not weird to not shower every day. Okay? It's not weird. Now, I definitely think you should be showering multiple times a week, obviously. Probably most days, but so far we're fine. Someone said I can't shower every day because eczema. Yeah, That's a completely valid reason. Yeah, some people can't shower every day, first of all. And then even if you can, like, you don't always need to. Someone said if I wasn't lazy and depressed, I would shower daily. Honestly, that's part of the reason I do shower so often, though, because for me, I experience a feedback loop. Someone said the speed of the chat. Yeah, I don't think my chat has ever moved this quickly for this long. We're getting a lot of opinions. For me personally, for my depression and the way I experience it, any and everything that inconveniences me is an excuse to fall deeper into depression. And that is why I often shower, and that's why I brush my teeth all the time, and I always try to like get up at a certain time, because for me personally, if I'm just like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit poorly and I need to shower and I haven't taken one-way trip to hell for me. So I try to stay squeaky clean and I try to stay, you know, shape and all of these things, but that's just for my own mental health personally. Someone said wait, same. Yeah, no, that's me for sure. I force myself to take showers, that way I don't get depressed as easily. But that's not even an easy thing to do. Reading chat. Someone said chronic illness chat is valid for taking longer if need be. Yeah, please don't let society make you feel nasty because you didn't shower today yet. Maybe that's how I'll wrap this up. Don't let anybody trick you into thinking that it's weird. Okay, someone says shower is self-care. Yeah, no, I shower a lot. No, my sensory, dude, I hate feeling gross. I can't do it. I'll be sitting there like, should I shower? Should I do it? And then I have to do it. I can't sit here and do this, especially too, because like you're desensitized to your own smell, low key. And I think I just have a fear. You know what? I'm already being really open and honest about this. Let's dive into it. I have a fear that I will smell bad if I'm not constantly showering, and I don't even think it's rational. That's a lot of times driving me to shower. It's just like, I will never truly know if I stink or not, because I'm me. I don't want to be walking past people and have them think things about me, because I'm constantly like worried about that. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I have to, man. Someone said, felt I had an autistic meltdown this week because my OCD was triggered by my own smell. That happens to me. Not autism specifically, but ADHD sensory issue meltdown. Like actually just like, actually, you know what also really sucks? This happens to me with food, and I get so pissed off. Unfortunately, I struggle a lot with food smells, especially when it's not like time to eat. This is my experience. I'm giving you some experience here, just how I live. Like a lot of times you walk in somewhere and you're like, oh, it smells like food. This is awesome. No, nightmare. I'm literally thinking to myself, can I just leave? Maybe I should go somewhere else. I can't do this right now. I can't deal with random food smells, and I live in an apartment. So I know when my neighbors are having dinner and stuff, and I'm suffering. I'm like, oh no, they're having like fish or what. I'm never thinking to myself, oh, that smells good. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm so uncomfortable. I hate this. I'm over here trying to sit like weird and stuff so I don't smell it. It's, dude. Someone said the smell of fast food when you're not hungry. No, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Someone said food smell can be so offensive to me when I'm not hungry. Yeah, no, but I'm not. That's the thing. Me personally, like, I can't knock people for eating. So I don't like make it, I guess, anybody else's thing. I don't make them aware of this. But yeah. Oh, buddy. You haven't lived until you've gone through a day and just had it absolutely ruined because you walked past somebody who had the audacity to cook a meal. And then you're just like, oh no, why am I suffering? It's a mess. But anyways, someone says smelling food when I'm on my ADHD meds makes me nauseous. It can make me nauseous as well. Okay, wait, hold on. Is that you as well? I thought that was just me like overreacting or something. I actually do oftentimes feel a little bit just sick. And I just thought, like, okay, D'Angelo, this is just you being ridiculous. This can't, like, you can't chalk everything in your life to ADHD. But actually, no, sometimes just the smell of food, I'm just like, I lose my appetite. which sucks. It sucks so bad because then it's actually dinner time. And I'm just like, what if I just didn't eat? Because I'm just over food as a concept. Oh my God. I never thought about this being just a common thing of like losing your appetite because you smelled food. But yes, this happens to me a lot. Somebody said IBS. Oh my, there's probably so many reasons that this could happen to you. Oh man. Oh man. No, that's a mess, man. That's a mess. Anyway, someone said being neurodivergent sounds like hell. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I feel like, how to describe this? Even though I complain a lot about the things that I experience, and many of them can be quite hellish, I think in general, I got to be careful how I talk about this. Because actually, people with neurodivergence are not a monolith, so you'll get differing opinions on this. Definitely differing opinions on this. But me personally, like, I'm fine the way I am. I don't actually like super like mind it. If you get two different people and you ask one of them, would you prefer to just not have what you experience? And they would say yes, they're valid if that's how you feel. But you also have a lot of people who, if you stop them and you're like, would you just rather not have this at all? I don't identify that way personally. Actually, I'm fine with mine. I wouldn't rather not have it. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe that's just like, maybe I'm just too lost in the sauce. But yeah, I don't know. That's a really, really weird one. And you have like when people outside of various communities start talking about like, oh, we want to like cure you or whatever, it starts getting really weird really fast. It's definitely down to each person's individual choice of how they feel. Personally, sometimes I would keep the ADHD and return to childhood trauma. No, I literally agree with that. Hold on. Sometimes I like my neurodivergence. The world just isn't built for us in a lot of ways. I haven't seen too many people talk about this. I actually prefer myself the way I am. That might sound stupid after I just explained I have to shower twice a day and, lose my appetite because someone cooked a meal. I don't want to be neurotypical, honestly. That's not a goal or a better thing in my mind. That's just me, personally. Someone said, I love being autistic except for the fact that I don't eat. Like, please just let me have a food. Yeah, no, there's elements of my personal experience of neurodivergence that I would reject in an actual heartbeat. Please, no, I don't want this for me. But in general, I'm totally fine. Someone said this is so interesting. Yeah, no, someone said if the world was built for us, I'd be locked and loaded. Yeah, no, y'all would not be ready for me actually if there were accommodations. That's how I feel. Like, obviously I manage everything because life is hard, but like maybe what if things are just like easier and I could just still be who I am. So I love myself, including my autism. Yeah, no, very much justice for people who are like, actually this is what I am. But again, if you are somebody and you're like, no, D'Angelo, I just don't want this. I'm not trying to invalidate you. I'm just sharing my own experience. Sometimes I don't need a cure for me, my personality, my interests, etc. I feel the same way. Yeah, no. Sometimes ADHD is great. Depression and anxiety aren't. Yeah. I'm glad this is coming across the right way. Because if you just start randomly saying, oh, ADHD is awesome. And then people are like, what do you mean? This is like messing up so many things in my life. But I think there are a lot of people with ADHD who are just like, oh, it's fine. Autism? Yeah, I have that. That's dope for me in the ways that it is dope. Someone said, why does everyone treat neurodivergent like it exclusively means ADHD and ASD? Because other things are overlooked and erased or villainized and demonized. And whereas I'm very happy that so many people do talk about, I can only speak about ADHD specifically, I definitely wish all forms of neurodevelopmental disorders or disabilities or whatever people are experiencing could be understood or talked about on a widespread level, which is why I'm constantly trying to learn and educate myself about things, for sure. To answer your question, that's why, because other people get erased. And it's not a good thing. And so we should have advocacy for everyone. Someone said Tourette's. Yeah, exactly. Tourette's is a great example of a recent case where another form of, disorder was not understood and the mainstream, and therefore people were suffering about it. That being said, people still totally misunderstand ADHD, and it's bad. It's really bad. Someone says stigma's lowering for ADHD and less so for other neurodivergences. Yeah, I completely agree. Reading chat. All right, anyways. Someone said my autism is fine, but my cluster B can go to hell. I hear you on that one. Like, you should be able to pick and choose, honestly. Someone said heavy on the villainized. Yeah, no, that one's really tricky. And you're right. You're definitely right. No, you know what I think a lot about, chat? Actually, wait. I hope that this isn't too... Y'all gotta stop me. Actually, don't stop me. I'm just gonna say it and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think about narcissism and the way that it's talked about online and things like that, because I do agree for sure that, like, you don't want people doing narcissistic things in your life. You don't want to be, like, mistreated or, found and latched onto by somebody who's going to use you as, like, an outlet for narcissism or whatever. And also, I unfortunately have, like, a really deep personal experience with exposure to narcissistic behavior growing up. It was in my household. So I've seen what I feel like is almost every single possible bad manifestation of NPD and it's like honestly happened to me, unfortunately. But like, it's still a personality disorder. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about people who like here. I want to be really, 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 really clean and clear with what I'm saying right now. Mayo Clinic, right? This is not me making this up. Like, narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition. And sometimes I don't even really know how to talk about these things, because it's like, if you come out and you're just like, oh yeah, this person that I knew, they were a narcissist, and you just start like slandering them and all this stuff. It's like, I wouldn't want somebody to do that with my mental health condition, personally. So it's really, the villainization is interesting. And I think it's kind of similar to, I kind of see it as a similar idea to the discussion we had earlier about the Baptist scenario, where how, like, you don't want to shame people for having a disorder. That doesn't make any sense. That's not the right answer. Even if things are happening that also have to be addressed or are affecting other people, so much of like this is just, you see narcissists get labeled as like wholesale bad people, get rid of them type stuff. Someone said, is there a difference between being a narcissist and having narcissistic personality disorder? A lot of people, and I'm sorry, like, this is bordering on medical advice. Correct me, medical people, if I'm wrong about this, but my experience was a lot of people who have narcissistic personality disorder would not ever get this diagnosed. So I can't actually even tell you that the person that I was, dealing with even had this, is the really tricky thing. Because kind of part of the way that the disorder was manifesting was that, like, of course, nothing is wrong with me. So unfortunately, then everybody in my life looks at this person and they're just like, they're a narcissist. And there winds up not even being any sort of NPD anything, because there was no diagnosis. So you can't even actually attribute it to a disorder, which is really, really, really unfortunate. And And that sucks really bad. That sucks really, really, really bad. Whereas like, I can't just tell, maybe this person was just being a horrible person for, you know, no reason, or doing horrible things because they thought it was fun or whatever. But like, when it is manifesting as like a 1-for-1, shot-for-shot experience of what somebody with MPD would be exhibiting, and then you go online and you try to find out and like contextualize your childhood, and you're like, what was going on there? And then you see, oh wow, this is a common thing. It's really, really, really tricky. It's tricky. Someone said narcissist is just someone behaving narcissically. Someone said a lot of narcissists don't know that they are. It's a symptom to think that they can do no wrong. That's why they're hard to treat. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. And that's the thing. Like, you can't be diagnosed if you don't sit for a diagnosis. It's a really, really, really tricky thing. So someone said not all narcissistic people fit the criteria. Yeah, no, like, chat, when you look at the things that they're saying right here, an unreasonably high sense of their own importance, needing and seeking too much attention, wanting people to admire them, this, that, the other. There's just so many people who are like this, not because they have a personality disorder. They just they're not great. They're just not great. You just have a lot of people who just naturally, with no sort of health condition, are this way. And that's what makes, I feel like, narcissism so hard to talk about, or it can make it really difficult to talk about, because you can't excuse people like this, right? Somebody who is like this and actually doesn't have whatever, like, you don't want them in your life. You should, you know, essentially shun this behavior and be like, this is a bad thing. But the way I would describe it is it's kind of like ADHD, and where a lot of people think that like, oh, ADHD is I forgot to show up to something, haha. But then like the people who experience it are more like, oh no, I feel actually like my life is, I'll show you what ADHD feels like. The sword of Damocles. This is ADHD for me. Just this is right. Look, it's over my head right now. The sword just hanging there all the time. And like, you just miss one alarm in your life, or you forget to add one thing to your Google Calendar, and it just comes crashing down on you. That's actually what it feels like. It's not just like, oh, I forgot something. I think that's the same thing with narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, where people, not thinking of it as a disorder, they just think like, oh, it just means that you have, like, you just think that you're better than other people, or, you know, you mistreat other people. Yeah, that's what they think it is. But like, what it actually more so is like, oh, you are in a lifelong competition with like your own family members that you can never escape from. Or like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, actually, you were emotionally dysregulated in ways that are actually not 100% your fault. And that might be why you're reacting this way, and you wouldn't even know it because you don't think of yourself. So it's like, narcissism on the outside is easy to pick out things, but it can manifest as much more specific, hard to identify things, and it just gets really, really tricky. Someone said it can be really disheartening hearing your diagnosed personality disorder talked about like this. Well, yeah, I agree. Actually, I kind of appreciate that feedback, because it's like, yeah, it's just hard on both ends, I guess. You know what I mean? It's hard being on the receiving end of a lot of stuff. And it's also really unfair that people, yeah, no, dude, it's tricky. It's really, 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 really tricky. And so hopefully my discussion or my explanation doesn't sound like I'm actually villainizing the disorder, because that's not how I feel. I personally believe in my heart that everybody who has a mental health condition deserves help. the help that they need or the accommodations, or just to just feel like life doesn't have to be harder for them than it is for other people. Is how I feel. Yeah, tricky. Someone said, I have BPD and I'm tired of people saying it's not a real disorder. That's so ableist. Yeah, no, that's nasty. Someone said, you're doing great, I promise. Well, thank you. I'm trying. Yeah, you essentially got to recognize, like, what can you do? You know what I mean? I guess it's tricky, man. It's tricky. It's just tricky. So I think you're doing a better job of talking about it compared to most online discourse. Well, thank you, because I think that most online discourse is like, oh, you got narcissists in your life, kick them out, give them the boot. These people are awful. They walk among us disguised like humans, but they actually are like a lot of that. And even as somebody who was on the other side of this for a very long time, that's not what was happening. I don't know. I think you should just want people to be better. Shouldn't you just want people to feel better? I guess if you feel like, oh, somebody's constantly falling into these, like, but that's so tricky. Oh, no, that's interesting. Reading chat. Someone said, I still have contact with my MPD dad because I understand he's not capable of being the person I want him to be and meet him where he is, but I don't expect others to do the same. I think that's great. That's like you deciding for yourself what this looks like and not actually universally applying judgment to what other people do. That's kind of the only thing any individual person can do. Reading chat. Someone said, I have BPD and the online discourse tells people to run. Yeah, no, dude, that sucks. Like, just hold on. Let me see. Images. I don't even want to like pull up. You know, I'm not even going to pull up the memes. But people make memes about this. And they're just like, oh, watch out for her. She's got this. And I'm like, so then are we supposed to be forever alone? That's the thing that I don't understand. I don't know. It's so stupid. Someone said narcissists are treated like werewolves, bro. They are. They really are. What is the answer here? Reading chat. Someone said run from yourself or other people should run from you. There's a lot of like other people should run from the people in your lives who have these disorders. Just get away from them. I will say this though. Like, regardless of what anybody else is experiencing, you should put yourself first. It's that simple. This isn't making like snap judgments on, you know what I mean? Somebody else's experience of whatever they're going through, no matter what that is. You have to evaluate for yourself. Am I helping? Am I being helped? Is this harming me? Etc. And then work from there based off of what you yourself can do. I think that's a much more charitable way of approaching this, as opposed to just like everybody run, everybody, you know, screw this person for having these things. Like, no, you should not be in a scenario that's like really beyond your scope to manage, I guess. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's tricky. Reading chat. Someone said, I don't know, I think there are a lot more people with MPD than we realize. Yeah. So I just got what's going on. I don't really know how we got on the topic, but I started talking about narcissistic personality disorder and how, yeah, I don't know. This is my first time. This is my first time actually saying that I've experienced this just as a kid, like, or like being with somebody who it was like untreated, and it was so scary and sad. And that's how I feel now. Now I just feel like sad. I think for a long time I felt angry, and that's usually what you get when people who experience these things look back on their experience and they talk about the people who had these conditions, and you're just getting anger. And you know what the thing is, like, anger is valid though. If you're mistreated for any reason, that's upsetting, and you have to process that. But I don't think anger is ever a valid reason to be ableist or like start just making judgments about all kinds of people who may share traits to, you know, like I don't think that's the purpose of anger. I think I don't think that's a good thing. And so maybe that's why I tried to move past it. But then I landed in sadness. Now I'm just sad. And I'm just like, oh, that was a sad thing that happened. And we can't fix it. And it's probably never going to be fixed, I guess. And fixed, you know what I mean by fixed, ameliorated, made better, made easier to deal with. I don't know. I cry. So is this a video topic over? It was pretty much over. We talked about Benny Blanco's feet, and then I've been stalling for the past 30 minutes. Anyways, someone said anger equals unprocessed hurt. Yeah, no, it's tricky, man. All right, that being said, I'm reading chat. Oof. Everybody is like really these are the longest chat messages I've ever seen. Somebody said radical acceptance. Yo, honestly, yeah, bring it back to that. Radical acceptance. Reading chat. Someone said, I grew up in a household where being angry was wrong and disrespectful despite having a parent with anger issues. Oh my God. Yeah, no. That's... Yeah. Emotional dysregulation. Someone said this is hitting. Well, I'm glad. That's why I talk about these things. That's why I talk about these things, because I'm like, I know it wasn't just me. Okay, let me ask you this. You ever... like, just, I don't know, looking at your guardians, your parents or whatever, as a child, I'm talking young, and thinking to yourself, even though you didn't use the language because you didn't have it yet, because you were a kid, like, oh, you have a form of emotional dysregulation. And I am in the hot seat because of this. Like, being like 10 or 9 or like 5 and thinking these things like, oh, I don't know what this is because I'm a child and I don't know what a disorder is, but I feel like this isn't even representative of how I see you usually. This is something else and strange that is really hard to deal with. It's hard. That's really difficult. Then of course you get older and you're like, oh, I was right. I didn't know what it was when I was a kid. But yeah, no, something was amiss here. And then you essentially have two versions of your parent in your head, or whoever it is that's raising you. Does anybody talk about this? Because I essentially have two versions in my head of some of the people in my life where I'm just like, there was like the you that I really saw that not even you saw because you were yourself, but I could see all of the good in you. I did. I could see that. I was there, and that was the only thing I wanted to see as a kid. But then there's also like the you that I have had to reckon with and deal with and figure out, where do I put this in my life, or how do I move forward with my life while having this there? And so that war, honestly, in my mind of like, oh, but like you're such a good person, you're so beautiful and you mean so much, but like, how do I make you be that person? That's a heartbreaking thing to think at 12. That looking at one of your guardians and just being like, oh no, you're being like the other version, the one that like, and then just getting older and realizing like dysregulation, some of these things weren't even your fault. And no one got you help and stuff like that. It's really, 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 really tricky. It's really tricky. Someone said, I'm so glad I caught this live. Yeah. Someone said you can't. Well, that's the thing. You can't. And so that's maybe what I realized. I had to come to that conclusion. I was like, oh, you really are. He's not going to cry in the live stream. So I'm going to say this really neutrally. I was like, you really are one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. But you're just not You're also just one of the most destructive, I guess, to me. And I can't be destroyed in the name of a beauty that you yourself aren't recognizing. That's what I had to say. That's what I had to say. And that's not a thought that I come to naturally. That's a thought that you get to with therapy. I had to really unpack that and just think about some things, like, because I didn't know what forgiveness meant. Forgiveness, I don't even know what forgiveness is. I don't think that's a useful word to think about people. I really had to break it down that simply of like, no, you are a beautiful person. You're wrong. When you're acting like this, you're the one who's not seeing things the way that they are. But like, I can't attach myself to this idea of you and therefore take any and every like punch that comes your way. You just can't do it. You just can't do it, man. You can't do it. It's not gonna work. Reading chat. Someone said both things can be true, but set boundaries to protect yourself always. Yeah, you're never going to be wrong, I guess, by protecting yourself first. That's the thing. So the distance hurts even if it's right. Yeah, no, it's not an easy thing to do for sure, but you got to do what you got to do. Someone said it's okay. You said it very well. I need to hear that. I'm glad. I'm really, really glad. Yeah, no, there's literally space for every single thought in my head and in anybody's head. I think that's the thing that people seem to not realize online. And maybe that's low-key been the one of the points of my channel since I started doing online commentary. So much of my commentary is like taking what other people say. I did that in the BAFTA scenario. I found what were other people saying and I tried to put those thoughts in my video. And I feel like that's sort of how I've grown as a person, is just finding more ways to hold all of those conflicting thoughts in my mind. I stopped trying to resolve them because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. No matter how old I got, or I'm only 27, so I'm sorry if I just sound like some idiot young person, but no matter how much older I got or how far away I got from adolescence or being a confused 4-year-old or whatever, I realized like I'm never going to be able to make things make sense. I have to just keep expanding and finding new ways of holding space for multiple things that may appear to conflict or whatever. And so that's how I try to see things. And that's why I feel like I can talk about most things without pissing people off. I don't know. If you have a cluster B personality disorder, which some of y'all do, can y'all let me know if that was offensive? Let me know. I don't want to sound like I'm doing that, but I feel like it's easier for me to avoid this because I'm usually just trying to think of every single angle of it. Like, actions have consequences for sure, but villainizing people and then also refusing to recognize that some things may be out of people's control, even if they may have some sort of responsibility. It's just all things that we can think about simultaneously. Someone said, I came here to be funny, but now I'm in my feels. Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. So we're saying not offended. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I don't want to walk over people in the name of making good points. If I actually start saying like, screw narcissists, they all suck or whatever, and I start getting people agreeing with me in comments, yeah, no, narcissists did this, narcissists did that. It's like 95% of us are having a great conversation or whatever, but I very willingly would have thrown 5% of people under the bus to make these points, and that happens a lot. I get thrown under the bus a lot. Just being parts of various groups or having various this, that, the other. And so, yeah, I don't know. Even if it winds up being a longer conversation and it takes twice as long to make my point because I'm trying to see it from different points, I will try to do that, mostly just because I'm just like alienating small groups of people. It's like today we're going to alienate these people and today you're going to alienate these people, and it's only ever like 5 people at a time, but then you get somewhere and you realize like, oh no, this isn't a good space for anyone at this point. It sucks. Some people are afraid to talk about it, which only worsens the stigma. Yeah, no, you should talk about it for sure. Someone said, this is the first stream of yours I've caught. I'm very glad about that. Gonna have to be regular because the opening perspective is helpful. Good. Also, I want to get back to the topic because like I'd be waxing like I don't know, philosophical or like, I don't think of this as like philosophy. I don't think I'm a smart person at all. I just think I hate my age. I hate my age because I'm like, everything in my life right now is being shaken up. All of my thoughts and opinions and like who I am. I'm 27. I'm just gonna put 27 as I just put 27 in there. It's a strange age. I wish people would talk more about this. I don't think you have to be 27 specifically, but like, I have never second guessed myself more. I have never, ever second guessed myself more than I have right now talking to you in my mid to late 20s, because someone says Saturn return. Yeah, no, I can feel certain parts of myself like finalizing and I don't want them to be bad. Does that make sense? That's how I feel at 27. I feel like right now, I feel like I'm very much like I'm always going to want to be open to change, but I actually believe there are parts of me now that I know are me for sure and won't change. And obviously you could still change a lot, but I think I know who I am kind of now. And the main question is that a good person? That's me essentially. I do know who I am. You can't exactly tell me that I'm a child at this point, because I think you're wrong. I very much am not a child. I know that. I have my own tendencies and ways. I am a singular individual, but like, who the heck is this individual and what are you actually doing? Somebody said I'm about to be 26 and the finality of it all scares the F out of me. Someone said that makes sense to me at 23. Yeah, no, it doesn't even have to be this age specifically. Just somewhere in my 20s, I'm like, oh, this is the quarter life crisis that you are talking about. This is what it is. I didn't realize. Someone said, is it bad? I just want to be 30. Please let me be 30. Please. I don't actually need to be 28 and 29. I don't need to do it. I'm sorry. Whatever lessons life thinks it has in store for me. Also, if I turn 30, doesn't that mean the Trump administration's over? Sorry, hold on. We ain't trying to be political. I'm not trying to be political. I'm just saying it's currently 2026. So, like, no. Yes. It will be over. Yeah. It will. Can we just skip there? Can we do that a little bit? I don't think that that's going to fix the world. I don't think that my life is going to be better. I'm just like, fast forward on the simulation. Please. Just a little bit. Someone says far too late for that. Yeah, no, I don't think that the world or country is going to snap back into reality just because one administration ends. But I'm just like, at the very least, I don't want to hear this. Anyways, that's enough. I'm so lost in the sauce. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. I think that was probably a 30-minute tangent because, I already had it pulled up. Oh, no, wait, that's the wrong one. It was this one. That was like a 30-minute tangent because I didn't want to go back to Benny Blanco talking about not showering. Someone said those are my personal development years. I think everybody should get the opportunity to skip it if they want. You don't have to skip these years for everyone, but I should get the skip ad button because I am tired. So we agreed already in chat that showering every day, many people do. And if you're, kind of gross or whatever, showering's a good thing. I was trying to say Benny Blanco's stance on showering sounds fine at first. He recently shared a personal tidbit about his hygiene habits. Specifically, that doesn't shower every day. If you're new and you're like, why are we talking about this man taking a shower? We're talking about standards for men and women dating gross men or men who are considered to be ugly. And I was just using this as the last boss of gross men. He says, don't stink. he doesn't shower shampoo every day, but he says, I'm really clean, but I don't shower every day. He says some people I know shower 2 to 3 times a day. I have to do that or I feel like I'm going to evaporate. But he says, but I feel like the oils on your skin don't have time to rejuvenate and get juicy. And I'm like, okay, Benny, I'm with you so far. I know what you're saying and you are correct. You're right. Skins do naturally have oils, which can be beneficial by not being washed away every single day. But juicy is kind of that's an interesting term. And then this is a part where he lost me and I'm like, no, man, you're gross. You're gross. You're gross. He says, I like to use a hodgepodge. I want to smell like tobacco, but also like cotton candy. I want there to be an aroma as I'm walking by. I want it to smell a little bit like man, a little bit feminine. I definitely lean a little more feminine in every sense. I was like, brother, I can't defend you on this. You are nasty. You had me at every single point. Not every person needs to shower every day. I agree. You should just try to be clean. I agree with that. Your skin has natural oils and that's a real thing. That's true. You lost me at you want to get juicy essentially and for there to be a smell as you walk past people because you're not showering. Dude. So kind of going back to him and Selena Gomez. When you see, let me just pull up a picture of them. Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez. Someone said it's cotton candy feminine. We can get into that in a second too. When you get back to this and you see a lot of people like, I don't understand this. I don't get what's going on here. This is an interesting choice. I sort of sometimes see what they mean. I just don't think that means we need to call Benny Blanco ugly for reasons he can't control. That's all. No, this idea that cotton candy is a feminine scent, I find that to be fascinating. Personally, someone said, how is Selena Gomez taking all this? Oh, I'll tell you. I can show you. I don't even have this in my outline because it's not that important, but she weighed in actually. Oh god, not the clip of him farting, please. Anyways, she weighed in as people were talking about this. She just randomly posts him and says, I fall more and more in love with you every day, my love. And I'm like, she's made her choice essentially, which I'm not here to knock. Selena Gomez is a grown person and I, as an internet rando, don't actually feel entitled to any sort of input on her relationship. All I'm saying is you would not catch me. I'm sorry, you wouldn't catch me dead defending a man who's out here farting on a podcast, putting his nasty feet on the couch. And I'll be like, oh, I got to swoop in and remind the world of our love. It's a no from me, dog. It's an absolute no from me. But anyways, there's much that could be said about this. I think I've more so gotten most of my main points in there. Sorry, some of them are a little bit grosser than others. Reading chat. Someone said good for her IG pop off queen. Someone said maybe she's stinky too. Okay, hold on. Because I saw this argument. And let me see if I can find it. I don't know who this is who weighed in on this, but just in me, in the process of me trying to find, talking points for this, I saw one celebrity had weighed in on why she thinks this might be happening. News. Gosh, what was the celebrity's name? Wait, somebody had said the same thing that you were saying, essentially. I'm not going to be able to find it. Maybe, hold on. Give me a second, chat. I'm trying right now. I really am. Okay, I feel like I can't find it, but essentially someone had said the same thing. They had said the same thing where they were like, maybe it's just gross, or maybe it's cute because sometimes, you know, people are dirty together or whatever. And I'm just like, brother, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think this is the right answer at all. Ivy Wolk? Oh, okay, wait, you know what I'm talking about? Hold on, somebody, Ivy Wolk. Okay, is that who said something? How do I find this, chat? Somebody researched this more recently than I did. Oh, I found it because of you. Thank you. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So actress Ivy Wolk, whose username is WokeMindVirus, which is actually really funny, said, y'all don't understand the charm. Oh, really big. Y'all don't understand the charm of dating a guy who's a little gross when you're a chronically ill girl. Because when you're having diarrhea and throwing up and getting surgery, he's not shaken. Y'all won't get it. And I'm like, Ivy, I hear you. I do. What you're saying makes sense. It does. However, I also feel like, don't put this on people who have chronic illnesses. Why? How come every person who has a chronic illness, a chronically ill girl, just caught a stray when Ivy essentially tried to say, no, like, you have to essentially accept these gross men in your life. I understand what she's saying. I truly, truly do. Because it's like, on the one hand, bodies are just bodies. And I actually don't even think most things that people think are gross are actually that gross. But I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. It ain't no way we finna let dirty feet on the couch slide because Selena Gomez has a chronic illness. That being said, this person may have been kidding. She may have been joking. But yeah, I did see that earlier of like, maybe this is just her man because he understands the struggle. And I'm like, no. Someone said, why are we getting dragged into this? Someone said, I get it though. No, I get it though. Like, I actually genuinely see what she's saying. I can't do dirty feet on the couch. That's the main thing. If it was anything else, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Never your dirty soles on my white couch. That's white with an H. Well, white usually has an H. That's white with two H's. White. Get that off my white couch. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about ugly men. Ugly, dirty celebrity husbands. I don't think anybody's ugly. I do think that there are double standards for men and women for sure. And we talked about some of those today. Any other thoughts? There's probably definitely some. Somebody said, I want a woman, I'm a lesbian, who's both clean and not grossed out by me. I know, don't you deserve better, low-key? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to get somebody who's gross for me. No, what? Reading chat. Someone said blaming Selena's casual misogyny is Benny's problem for real. Yeah, no, actually, how did this flip back onto being her thing to deal with? That is really wild. Benny is the one who was being nasty in that clip. So he could at least wear socks. Thoughts on ugliness in general. Here, I'll go back and tell you all the things that we covered, which wasn't really that much. It was more so just a talkie video. We talked about the 5 main topics being Ethan Slater, Jay-Z, Benny Blanco, Pete Davidson, and Jeremy Dufresne. I kind of talked about how with Jay-Z, sometimes talking about being ugly can loop into some nasty things like racism, womp womp. I talked about how with Pete Davidson, I have a personal pet peeve, call it a Pete peeve, that things that are considered ugly often can just be symptoms of medical conditions. That really pisses me off. We talked about Jeremy Dufresne and this idea of like, you know what? Even if you're not ugly, you still can be crusty and you should wear sunscreen. And it's just interesting seeing people's appearances get rolled into their political positions and things like that. That's all very strange. We talked about Ethan. I think the thing I mostly said about him was that he looks like Ariana Grande's brother. That was not an important point, but that one just weirded me out a little bit. We kind of talked about black capitalism a little bit. That was just a little aside of saying I'm a billionaire, so I can't be ugly is a dumb point because actually all billionaires are ugly. We talked about hygiene and showering every day. And we talked about how beauty standards change so quickly that it's virtually pointless to try to fit into any of them. Any other thoughts? Someone said, folks, he's not even ugly. Dude has some charm and it works for her, even if it's a bit gross. For real, I definitely would like to reiterate, none of the 5 people I mentioned, despite commonly getting called ugly online, are ugly. They're really just not, honestly. Someone said Benny Blanco is hugely successful and a celebrity in his own right, by the way. Yeah, I'm familiar with his work. He's a really good producer. Someone said, I think a lot of men call the husbands ugly because they're jealous that their secret celebrity crush is now married to someone else. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on a second. I'm going to use what you just said to filter that through a Pete Davidson angle. So you think that a lot of these men get called ugly by men who are jealous of them? I think I would have to agree with you. I don't think that applies to every single person that I talked about today, but I do see that. I do see that with Pete Davidson a lot. Pete Davidson, you constantly have some dudes out here talking about, oh, why would Ariana Grande date this person? Oh, how did he date Kim Kardashian? How did he date? I cannot list a history of every single person that Pete Davidson has dated. I'm not that kind of pop culture commentator. And I'm not going to lie to you, it is giving jealousy. I'm not even saying that Pete is someone you should be aspiring to or whatever. I don't know much about the darn guy, but men can get hella jealous and they're tearing down of other men as like, oh, you're not good enough to, because like low key, do you think it should have been you? That was never going to happen. My brother in Christ. Listen, everyone's beautiful. Everyone is. But Ariana Grande was never finna date you, to be honest. That's how I feel. Someone said, why him, not me? Yeah, no, it's very much giving that energy sometimes. All right, any other thoughts? That was a great thought, that there could be a jealousy angle. I agree with you. Sometimes I'm picking up jealousy vibes. Someone said men are so emotional. Men are so emotional? How dare you? How dare you say men are emotional? Men are logical. Unless you consider anger to be an emotion or to produce other emotions, in which case I would actually argue men are more emotional. Men get away with being much more emotional. That's my true opinion. It's not that like, oh, women and men, equal. That's no. Actually, I think the way that things are set up allows men to be much, much, much more illogical and emotional and irrational than any woman gets away with. But anyway, someone said, careful, we'll clip this out of context. Clip it out of context. Men are more emotional than women. I said it. You know what? I said it. Whose opinion am I worried about? Some man's gonna click into this and disagree with me, or you're gonna feel targeted. Men are absolutely more emotional than women. I can back this up with every single experience I have literally ever had, because a lot of times what's considered to be logic is actually some form of weird emotional constipation. You're not being logical. You're just refusing to engage with how you really truly feel. And when it comes out, it only comes out as extreme emotion. I'm sorry. That is actually so much harder for me personally to deal with. Listen, I said what I said, and I don't think it's inherent. Personally, I do not believe that there are any inherent differences between somebody based off of their gender, or how they're born or whatever. I know that that's not true. I think it's more so you grow up and society tells you can do these things. You can get away with these things. You can get away. That's why men wind up being different than women. That pisses me off so much of like, I don't even know what I'm looking for a picture of right now. I'm going to pull up somebody and say that he said this, even though I don't know that he's ever said this. Ben Shapiro, you can be my piñata right now. Ben Shapiro on a podcast saying there are differences between men and women. I don't even know what impression that was supposed to be, because he doesn't sound like that. But he sounds like that when I hear him speak. There are differences between men and women. Yeah, because society has foisted differences on men. Like, 95% of what people consider to be differences between the genders or whatever is literally just societal differences and expectations. I don't believe that men and women are different. That's my opinion. I'm not a scientist though, so I can't actually prove this. But I can definitely say if you grow up socialized one way for 18 years as a child, yeah, you're probably going to wind up sharing traits with people who were socialized the same way for 18 years. And it was a completely like diametrically opposed way. Of course, men and women seem really different. Duh. But that is not actually saying what you're saying it is. I think we should be rolling back a lot of these things that force unnecessary differences between people and just let people naturally be who they are. That's how I feel personally. And maybe that's just me being lost in the sauce or whatever, but I've always felt this way. Someone said patriarchy affects men as well. Yeah, dude, like men and women. I'm just arguing that they're different. That's such a big conservative talking point. It's a big one. Oh, it's one of the biggest ones. The biggest ones you'll ever find is that men are men and women are women. And I'm like, yes, because we made that up and then assigned people into it against their will as they were born. So I agree on some level that the phrases you're saying make sense, but they're not true because of some weird God-given right or state upon birth. So yeah, no, I get pissed off. I get pissed off real bad about that. Really, truly. Someone said it's true because men who aren't manly enough get pushed out too from patriarchy. Yeah, no, for real. Someone said, what did I walk into? Me complaining about gender, I guess. Someone said gender is a social construct. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Like, this idea of who is emotional and who are the ones who are dependable and who are the ones who are reliable and this, that, the other. It just doesn't make any darn sense. I don't know, man. Someone said the whole what is a woman convo is so wild to me because there are so many exclusions and special circumstances that make the one or the other idea fail. Yeah, no. I think that that's such a strange question. I'm agreeing with you. I think it's such a strange question to ask of like, oh, what does a woman mean or this, that, the other? Because like, again, personally, I completely fail to understand any form of politics that is about deciding how other people get to define themselves. I don't get it. It's not even that I personally disagree with it. I do. I actually just high-key don't understand it. I don't. I don't understand this idea of like, no, the thing that you're telling me that you are, actually, I decide what you are. And then you're just ruining people's lives over this. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it's just so insanely dumb to me. I hate it. I hate it so much. Someone said, why can't people just live it as they want? I know. I don't want to sound like some sort of like kumbaya, like let's hold hands and stuff, but bruh, I got kumbaya energy. I really just wish. Someone said all the gender stuff is confusing. Well, people make it confusing. Someone said, when are we going to do away with gender reveal parties? Oh no, are we talking about gender reveal parties? Hold on. Let me record an outro. We got to stop. All right, chat. Everybody say bye to YouTube. Everyone say bye to YouTube. Because that was all I got on the topic of ugly men and lack thereof. I want to say, I'm aware that this was a talky video, but I wanted to do that. There were definitely more newsy things that were happening, but they were a little depressing and I was feeling kind of heavy and I didn't want to sit here on the live stream for 4 hours and feel heavy. So hopefully this lighter-hearted video was fun for you. If so, I think you should definitely let me know in the comments. I will check those out. But yeah, essentially, hopefully you never have to think about this topic ever again. I know I will try not to. And I recorded this live right here on YouTube, where I actually stream quite frequently, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I don't. In which case, I'm probably just I have no idea, but it doesn't matter that much. Hopefully I see you in the next stream or the next video, but if not, that doesn't matter either. Okay, bye. All right, stay here. Gender reveal parties. Oh no. Okay, gender reveal parties. First of all, raise my hand. Acknowledge something. No one asked for my opinion on gender reveal parties. I'm offering this unsolicited as somebody who has no children. So I'm aware of that. Don't worry. I'm quite aware. I just think if the party wasn't the beginning of the end, I wouldn't actually care about a gender reveal party at all. That's how I feel. I feel like gender reveal parties are the beginning of the end. And you're like, what are you talking about? D'Angelo, that's so, wow, Ben Shapiro jump scare. That's so dramatic, right? No. This is what I'm saying. And I'm being so for real right now. This is where it starts. Do you hear me? I don't know who this couple is. I'm sorry. They look really cute. This is where it starts. It starts right here and then it's over. It's over. You are automatically drawing the super hard line over a person whose personality you have not even experienced yet. They're in a womb. They are in a womb. They're not here yet. They're not a person yet in the traditional sense. And you're already being like, oh, we gotta move in a certain way based off of what they look like when they're born or whatever. This is why gender reveal parties scare me. I think if it was more so just like, oh, you know, we happen to have a boy or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Let's have a party. If it was just that calm or simple or unserious, I wouldn't care. But it's definitely a thing where, like, from the moment you are born, no, from before you're born, everything in your life gets gendered. That's why I say gender reveal parties are often the beginning of the end. You know what I think will be fire? A reveal party. Someone said it's a social gathering and celebration for the baby. No, hold on. I'm bringing that back up. It's a social gathering and celebration for the baby and the family, low key. No, I agree. I've been to gender reveal parties. Why not just a reveal party if that's something that you want to do? Like, we're having a baby at all. They may, it seems like it's a boy, which is awesome. That's just a tangent to the fact that we're having a baby, which we want you to celebrate with us. I'm not knocking on parents wanting to celebrate that. That's great for them. So that's not the part that I find weird at all. It's more so just like, why not just a reveal party? Like, we're rolling out a new baby. We're rolling out a new update to our family. We are going to be on version 3 that now has an infant. We've downloaded DLC. It's downloading right now. We're about to install that in 5 months. She's due. I think that that's fire. Invite me to your baby or your family DLC party and I'll show up and be like, whoa, that's fire. Where'd you even find this update? That's crazy. But like the gender of it all, it's definitely very lost on me. It's very, very lost on me. Someone said baby shower. Oh, do they have those? Okay, well, look, they already have reveal parties. You don't even need. None of my friends have kids. Can you tell? But when I was a kid, I remember going to some gender reveal parties and some baby showers. I forgot about those. Just do a baby shower. For real. Someone said, why are the men so unhinged when it's a girl? That's the thing too. Someone said not the gamer speak for babies. But like, babies are gamer speak. Okay, hold on. If you have a baby, you have essentially just performed a software update. Let's say we're the Williams family. The world is used to Williams family version 2. And then you're like, oh, snap. Incoming install. Taking 9 months to download, which is a very long time. You tell everybody, yo, we're downloading this DLC. This is fire. We're naming the DLC. I forgot. We're naming the DLC William. William Williams is downloading right now. And one day we'll show you the results of this. And then now you're on V3. There's no difference. Someone says spawn point unlocks. Yeah, no, it's the same thing. When I was born, I was installed into this world. My mom updated, and now we're here. Now we're here. Someone said the gamer language is appropriate. No, for real, for real. No, okay, I will say though, as much as I am joking about kids or babies or whatever, one thing I really don't like though is when people use like super crazy dehumanizing language for children. I'm a child-free person. It's a choice that I've made. I'm not going to have a child. I don't want to do that. And yet, I would never talk about kids the way that some people talk about kids. It actually really pisses me off. It's more of like a Reddit thing for sure. But people just say like, it's like, this seems less like you yourself have made a choice with the agency that you have not to have a kid, and more like you just kind of are looking for people to hate. Like you hate children, and I hate like 95% of the terms that people use to describe kids when they decide not to have kids. I'm just like, I'm child free, but I'm not a child hater. That's how I feel. I'm child free, but I'm not a child hater. Some of y'all forgot that there's a really big difference there. Someone said definitely a Reddit thing. Someone said crotch goblins is an awful one. Yeah, like crotch goblin, dude, that's not like you're a whole adult. Why? It sounds funny, crotch goblin, but like, someone said that one Reddit, kids are effing stupid. Okay, I have mixed feelings on that because you're correct that Reddit is just like people acting like kids are the worst life form to exist on this planet. That being said, stupid's a really strong word. Kids are very new. That's how I feel. Because I was 6 years older. I was 6 years older than all of my siblings. I've talked about this before. So 6 to 10 years older. So imagine I'm already a teenager and this is still a toddler. Sometimes I was just like, how would you possibly wind up in this situation? I can't believe you've done this. I'm like, I'm not going to call you stupid because you're new. You're very new. That's how I feel about kids. I'm like, oh, you must be new. That's the only way that you could have thought this was a good idea. That's the only way you could have thought this was a good idea. You're just brand spanking new. You don't have that many years of experience. Kids can definitely piss me off a little bit where I'm just like, you're really on some kid timing right now because only a child would wind up in this scenario. But like, that doesn't mean you should hate them. Someone said kids are so short-sighted. Yeah, they're very short-sighted. But like, this is why my second thought is like, you should protect them. Duh. This is the easiest, and that's just big brother over here. That's the easiest follow-up conclusion of like, oh no, you are not super duper smart about some things, but thankfully you got me. I'm here, and let me tell you right now, I was a great older brother. Usually. I was also an older brother. So, this is some things you may not know about older brothers. You have a legal... They would be drawing something. I'd just stick my hand in front of their face so they can't see the paper anymore until they tell me to move. Why? Because I can. Honestly, I was very much a stereotypical older brother. I have no idea why I was so annoying. But that's just the thing that older brothers do. And you know what the thing was though? I would never actually purposely mess them up. I know, hey, they're playing a game on the Nintendo Wii. If I turn the TV off, all they have to do is press the home button on the Wii remote, pause their game. So they're going to get really annoyed and like, hey, and stuff like that. But like, they can get back to their game. I didn't mess them up, right? Them drawing their on their paper, I'm not going to actually move their stuff and mess up their drawing. Once I get out of their hair, they can get back to what they were doing. So I think the thing was like, I just always wanted to I always wanted to reassert, like, don't forget that I'm the most annoying person in your life. That was my MO as a brother. Like, yes, I'm here to look out for you. I done saved my siblings' lives actually more than once. That's just a thing that happens sometimes. Like, yeah, I'm that person. I just yanked you from getting hit by a car that was backing out. I will always be there for you. But also, you think of the most annoying person in your life, it's me. And it will always be me. You'll never escape. I don't know why. I grew. I've grown and I've changed. My siblings tell me like, oh, D'Angelo, you're so like chill now. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Because why was I like 12 picking on 6-year-olds? But these are the only 6-year-olds you get to pick on. Are your siblings. That's why siblings are like this. If you've ever wondered like what is with a sibling, it's the only people you actually get to like treat this way. The only people who will let you get away with it. You have a God-given right to just be annoying. Reading chat. Someone said oldest sibling goal is to be the biggest help and hindrance. Yes, you understand. If you think of like the number one person in your life, who's the first person I'm going to call when I'm in trouble? If it's not my parents or whatever, it's going to be me. But then you also think the number one goal in your life, who was the last person who did something that pissed me off today? It's also going to be me. Oh my gosh. Someone said I'm both sad and relieved I didn't have siblings. Yeah, I was only an only child for 6 years. It was interesting. It was chill, but I am glad I had siblings. I prefer it that way. Also, that being said, it was an adjustment. It was an adjustment. Being an only child for like 6 years, and everybody is like, oh yes, you're the one, because you're literally the one. And then it's like, oh no, the two, where did this come from? Again, the update, the software update. You're like, not this. So you have to learn how to play the new game. Someone said I got up to annoy my brother just for this segment. Yes, good. Someone said, by the way, can you still consider YouTube channel memberships? This may be the last time I ever mentioned that. I probably won't, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Honestly, chat, like, we got another sponsorship coming up. Actually, I think that's going in a video that I'm putting out really soon. We got another sponsorship coming out. I'm looking for sponsorship opportunities while also trying to I don't know, just not have copyright issues, and I've been doing pretty well. So whereas I definitely appreciate the support or whatever, I'm trying to run the channel in a way where I don't need channel memberships, and you can just watch or not watch or support or not support. And also I don't have to post content because it's not good if you have a bunch of people paying channel memberships. And someone said BetterHelp. No, I do not have a BetterHelp sponsorship coming up. Absolutely not. Someone said, thank you for not putting your content behind the paywall. I can't keep paying for memberships. Yeah, it's definitely every creator's choice to do it if they want. I'm not one of those creators who it's just like, oh my God, everybody who monetizes their content is awful. But if I can figure out how to just try to push the right buttons and not have to worry about this, and none of us have to worry about it, that's more so the way I approach it. Someone said raid Shadow Legends. No, absolutely not, man. An independent D'Angelo who don't need no man. True, I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. I don't need nobody. Nobody but you. Anyways, someone said, why do you not like BetterHelp? What did I miss? Well, at this point, me taking a BetterHelp sponsorship would just be purely hypocrisy because I've criticized them so much, and also people who take them so much. Essentially, they've just had a lot of shady things in the past, be that like issues with people's data or people not getting sort of the help that they were looking for. Granted, a lot of people have been helped by BetterHelp as well. Not sponsored. A lot of people have been helped by BetterHelp, but that doesn't change the fact that many people have also not, and we're very vocal about that and bring that up when you do sponsorship. So hey, I've turned down BetterHelp money even though they came in at twice my average rate. Only company I ever heard tell me we will actually literally pay you double what you usually get for a sponsorship. Double. I was like, double? Because we were kind of stringing them along. I'm not gonna lie, I knew from jump I wasn't gonna do a BetterHelp sponsorship, but I was like, oh no, I mean, not at this rate, you know. And then they bumped it up again, and I was like, oh, this is really funny, they're super desperate. And then I was like, oh, you know, it's just like you guys have like this sort of reputation. Like, it's just like the rate is still not hitting for me. And then they bumped it up again. Fast forward after a few months, they had made so many offers that their final offer came in at 2x what I would usually charge somebody to talk about their product for 60 seconds. And I was like, there's no way that they just offered to pay me what would essentially be like all the sponsorships I would need for a 1 month period. Dude, it was so funny. Someone said no wonder people promote them despite everything. Yeah, they come in super, super high because they know at this point that they have a PR issue. They know at this point that when you say BetterHelp, people in the chat start saying, oh no, like BetterHelp, we don't like that. And that they know that you're going to catch flack, so they have to pay more. And they're actually getting more out of your ad read. If I say like, let's do a sponsorship for, I don't know, I'm making some, oh, I just did a VPN sponsorship. Okay, let's do a sponsorship for that. It's like you can either download it or not download it. It doesn't matter. But if I'm like, let's do a BetterHelp sponsorship, it's actually genuinely like image rehab for them is what BetterHelp is paying. And that's why they come in higher than other people. Because they're like, please say all of our good talking points. If D'Angelo is promoting BetterHelp, then surely it'll be better. And if you get to a point where D'Angelo promoted this and all these other people promote this, they're trying to get back in people's good graces. And that's why they've got hella budget. It's so funny. Someone said sponsorship from the USA hockey team. Someone said been seeing people take Temu sponsors, like get a job. Temu, no. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. Though I will say, no, hold on. Not 5 years ago. The Wilds release date. Not Monster Hunter Wilds. 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I almost did a sponsorship, not for Amazon itself, not for Amazon proper. Wait, okay, surely I'm past the point of not being able to talk about this. I don't know if this ever ran, but they were going to try to do a sponsorship push for this Amazon show called The Wilds. They sent me like, here's a snippet of the show. We want you to watch this. And here are like talking points for this. And I was like, sure, it's a TV show 5-6 years ago. I didn't really care at all. And so, yeah, I watched the snippet and I was getting ready to go with this sponsorship. I was like, why is Amazon doing a TV show sponsorship on my channel? And right when we would have gone live or whatever, they pulled out of the deal. And I did not see a single sponsorship for this go live. So I don't know if they just changed their mind or if they didn't like me or like what it was, but I didn't see anybody do this. So yeah, we definitely went from like, and I know it was really gonna happen because they sent me a clip of the show before it was even out. It was so funny. Someone said the show was so good. I did watch the show. It was kind of good. That's the funny thing about it. Or season 1 specifically, I really thought was interesting. But yeah, no, Amazon proper, it's a no for me, dog. I don't want to do Amazon, Temu, etc. I think the thing is too, like, I just, how to word this? There is no, like, I guess, perfect sponsor, but that to me just means like, don't promote things that are harmful. If that makes sense, that's really where I am. You know what? I wish who would sponsor me, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, yes, that would be amazing. We're there right now. Today's video is sponsored by Wikipedia. Wikipedia is awesome. Wikipedia has so much information on it. Wikipedia wants you to pay Wikipedia a little bit. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm getting like, I'm nerding out over the idea of Wikipedia doing sponsorships. I would put one of those in every single video. Every single video. I'd be like, today's video is sponsored by Wikipedia, where I get 95% of my information from. And you should all go pay Wikipedia if that's something that you want to do. Use my code to get $5 off your monthly Wikipedia membership, because Wikipedia mostly just helps people. Someone says they're always asking for donations, though. That's what I'm saying. Wikipedia. What's not clocking to you? How is it not clocking to you that I'm right here willing to take your money to influence for you on your behalf? How is it not clocking to you? This would make so much sense. Someone said all the teachers in high school said it's not reliable, so has that changed? Your teachers in high school. Hey, let me show you something. This is what I did in college. Because no, I was not allowed to cite Wikipedia as a source. But let's say I was learning about something like, I don't know, the Tokugawa era. Okay, the Edo period or the Tokugawa period. I would just scroll down here, and then I would just pull these things as sources. So you can just use Wikipedia as a source by using Wikipedia's source list. Nobody ever clocked me on this. Nobody ever said, D'Angelo, the 4 sources that you pulled from this article about the Tokugawa period were literally all from Wikipedia. No one is checking that hard. So no, I never used Wikipedia as a source that they knew of, even though they probably knew they weren't idiots, but they were just not going to push back on that. So I absolutely used Wikipedia to skirt my way through college, and I would do it again. And I would do it again, period. What I wound up having to do instead, just to pass tests and stuff, is I had to make up rhymes so I could remember things. Like I feel like there was a question on there about like guns or something. Look, I could be wrong about this, because I don't remember my history class at all. But I feel like one of the questions was like, oh, talk about how the Tokugawa period saw a lot of resistance to Western influence, and that like they did not want to adopt firearms into their military strategy. That to me sounds like a wall of text. That doesn't mean anything. But I was like, the Tokugawa don't. And I was like, it's like that song. And then I just turned it into a song. The Tokugawa don't want. And I just basically filled that in with your Western influence or your guns. They don't want none of your Western guns. And for every single... I really changed. They don't want none unless you got buns, hun. So they don't want none of your Western guns. And every single thing that I ever did while in college, I didn't actually remember it. I just turned it stupid enough for me to remember. And I still remember the Tokugawa one. Sometimes it still gets stuck in my head when I just randomly think about the history of Japan, as someone tends to do. I'm just like, the Tokugawa don't. The Tokugawa don't. So stupid. Someone said walls of text were the bane of existence in my college years. Yeah, no, I literally could not sit through lectures. They were just pointless to me. And they really helped a lot of people. I'm really glad, and I'm happy that we had college lectures. But the only thing that was actually useful to me was the ability to speak to the professor after the lecture. Someone said there's no picture on your wiki, D'Angelo. That's okay. I don't need a picture on my Wikipedia yet. Where am I at? I have never, and I mean never, edited my own Wikipedia. Look, they don't have a picture here yet because I have not even peaked. Don't worry about it. I know I seem a little popular now, but at some point I'm going to be so ubiquitous. It's definitely going to be like, this is going to double in length the Wikipedia. I'm enjoying YouTube right now, but I have other plans in my life. I'm probably going to go on and do other things, and you have to add that section, and you have to add that section. So fast forward 50 years, and it's like, D'Angelo Wallace with that long Wikipedia, everyone's finna know. You won't need the Wikipedia to know what I look like. And that's on period. Sorry. But like, not really sorry. I had the same thought to myself of like, wow, my Wikipedia is kind of like skimpy. But then I was like, I have the power to fix that. I'm going to turn my Wikipedia into something that's popping. And people are going to read it and be like, what is with this dude? He just did like 50 different things. What was the through line? And I'm going to be like, illness. Someone said, I will have been aware of you when you were just a YouTuber. Yeah, no, sometimes I would hate to be so famous. I'll talk about that in a second. No, I'm actually literally gonna make it to where this era, as beautiful and important as it is to me, will just be niche knowledge. People will be like, he did commentary videos where? Because I will be doing something else. As far as the idea of like actually being famous or whatever, it's kind of like, no, I don't want like fame. I don't think that's the important thing to me at all. I more so just want to make a bunch of things. A bunch of things that y'all cannot stop talking about, and not always YouTube videos. I feel like I'm good at making things that people talk about, and I have ideas for other things that people could talk about more than just a video. So that's where I see it just getting longer and longer. Like, oh, he tried this other thing, and then people talked about it. Me, myself, the person, I'm just a dude, but that's my goal in life. Someone said, I see a JoJo arc in your future. Someone said fame can be a burden. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm glad I'm not actually famous. I'm not famous. Someone said it's not clocking to you that he's standing on Business Wikipedia. Oh yeah, I wasn't even finished with what I was saying though. I wasn't even finished with what I was saying. If I could just get sponsors like Wikipedia.org, I would love to do Wikipedia sponsors, you know, but those aren't really the types of people that like reach out, you know what I mean? So I just vet everybody. You got weirdos reaching out trying to sponsor you, and I'm like, I don't want to do the weirdos. And you got, I don't know, like companies that are at least fine. And that's my, sometimes I love the tangents. Oh, the tangents for days in this chat. Also, is it just me or has this stream gone kind of quickly? I'm a little weirded out because I actually started on time, or like I didn't start on time. Let me not sit here and lie, but I'm like, how is it already 3.5 hours? This is insane. Anyways, what I was going to say was like, I'm not going to do a Temu sponsorship. I'm not going to do a Temu. Someone said, ask them. I guess I could. I don't know. I could ask Wikipedia, hey, Wikipedia, you should consider implementing you should consider implementing influencer marketing in your overall strategy. But then I think people would probably hate Wikipedia if they did that. So it's better that we just go our separate ways. So you're so good at talking that time flies. I think you're a wizard. I am indeed. Time flies when you're having fun. It does. Yeah. No, chat. All of this was like a front though. Because it's really getting real out here. It's really getting real out here, just in the real world. And like us, every day is a choice of whether we can get on here and talk a lot about the real world, or we can just chill. So today, I just wanted to chill. Because I can't believe what's going on. I never have been able to believe what's going on, but I'm continuing not to believe it. That's where I'm at. No, it's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. Reading chat. Someone said, I can't believe we went from trauma dumping to this. Listen, there's room in it all. What? There's room for it all in a 4-hour live stream. Thus, my runtime. Someone said an anti-capitalist shilling Temu, the most conspicuous consumption. Yeah, no, honestly, I wish I could just not do anything. If I could actually just make content for free, not run ads, not also have some other job, have to do some other job. This could just be my job, but I wouldn't have to like make money from it. I just wouldn't do it. I just disable everything on everything if that was easier to do. But that's not how this works. If I ran my YouTube channel for free, I would, like everybody else, have to do a job doing something else. And I'm like, all right, look, you were lucky enough to actually do YouTube. You better treat it like a business. That's how I feel personally. But yeah, it sucks because you don't want to be like, what's the little guy from Monopoly? What's his name? Monopoly guy name. Penny Bags. That's right. Rich Uncle Penny Bags. You don't want to turn into this guy. Wow, that's like a real guy. Okay. Anyways, you don't want to turn into this guy just because you gotta like do a bit of working under capitalism, but you do gotta work though. And that's a contradiction that I hate very much, but no, I am finna grind. I would very, very, very much prefer to be able to continue doing this. So you gotta do it, baby. You gotta go for it, which sucks. I just want to like sit under a mushroom, you know, like, am I gonna find, I don't know, just like a frog under a mushroom? Oh, this is a great picture. Open image, a new tab. Essentially, this is what I would rather be doing. That's what I would rather be doing. This is my personality. This is what is in my heart to do. This is what I know I should be doing. If life was actually fair and I got all the things that I wanted in my life, I would just be a little frog in the rain under a mushroom. All this capitalism stuff really doesn't do it for me at all. Not even a little bit. But I'm not going to front y'all. I'm making money doing this and I'm going to continue doing it because it makes money. Period. Can I tell you something? Look, it's really scary being like, I don't know, open about these things. I don't think she would get offended at me saying this. But like, I can pay my mom's rent off YouTube. It's actually really, 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 really crazy. When I got to that point and I was like, whoa, I can pay my mom's rent off, and I promptly began doing so. I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, like, she shouldn't ever have to worry about things like that or anything like that. Stuff like that is more so where I'm just like, oh my God, I can help people. I'm not constantly like trying to like stockpile, you know, wealth. That's not my point. That's really not my intention at all. And if it turns into that sort of money, then I'm going to start redirecting it elsewhere. But I started in my personal life just kind of being like, oh, I can like help out here and I can help out here and this is awesome and stuff like that. So I'm really, really happy with the way things are. And I would never be able to do that if you did not click into my videos or like this, that, the other. I'm not saying everybody has to do that, you know, with their moms or whatever, but I'm just saying that's a cool thing. And so things like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely, oh, trust me, I'm going to take a sponsorship. Because like me promoting a VPN or whatever, no one's getting scammed by this. Stuff like that, I'm happy. But it's like, don't lie to yourself and be like, oh, I gotta help people. I gotta do a Temu sponsorship, fast fashion, order these clothes that are gonna follow. So you got to make choices here and there, but I'd be trying. I'd be trying, honestly. I've been doing YouTube a long time and it has definitely paid off and will continue to do so. And notice how I didn't have to like do any crazy deals in order to be in this position specifically. That being said, I did promote honey years ago. I think that's the only one where, Chad, I promise you I did not know. I swear to actual God. And nobody did. This is the only one where I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. I feel bad that I did that one because they wound up sucking so bad. You got 19 million views on a video explaining everything wrong with honey sponsorships, and I was like, oh my God, no, that was my better help. Honey reached out to me. They were like, it's literally just an extension that you install and people save money. And I was like, okay, great, say less. And so now, actually, let me show you. Someone said, what's the controversy with honey? Dude, you should just watch. You should watch this video. I'll show you what I do. If I get a sponsorship, I essentially just start going like this. I did NordVPN recently. NordVPN scam. NordVPN scam. And then I just start reading these. And I read these. People will say, oh, hey, this is a scam. Now, this is the thing where they're saying what they were dealing with was actually a cancellation trouble. And so then I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. That's not exactly a scam. And so I start looking at what do people say is actually a scam about this? Is this a legit thing? And then what I will do next is NordVPN good? And I will start looking at these things. I'll just start going through these posts and they'll just be like, is NordVPN good? This looks like a paid post, but I will really try to find people explaining this, etc. And then you find these like comparison websites or whatever. I don't want site.reddit. Best VPN services. And I start looking at these things and trying to compare them essentially. So I've never promoted a perfect product. Anything that I am recommending, there's definitely going to be somebody online who said, oh, hey, this thing actually like is a scam. This didn't work, or I got misled or whatever. But like, oh, wait, I forgot. It wasn't Nord. It was Surfshark. It was Surfshark. My bad. The funny thing is, I've done Nord, Express, and Surfshark, which is so funny. But I'm pretty sure NordVPN and Surfshark are the same people. But anyways, with that being said, it says right here, ExpressVPN remains our choice for best overall, with Nord and Surfshark following closely behind. And so I try to do this. I once had this sponsor called Liquid IV. You ever heard of that one? Probably not. And I literally started Googling like Liquid IV. What is this? I just want to find people talking about it. You have people explaining what this is. And I'm like, okay, great. That's what this is. And then I start comparing talking points. Is the thing that they say their thing is what the thing itself actually is? But that's essentially what I could do. Somebody said, is Nord safe? Honestly, oh, wait, I'm under contract. I'm under contract right now. But if you were to ask somebody who did not just promote Surfshark VPN if Nord was safe, he would say, yeah, it definitely is. And I'm being so for real. Like, why am I doing free VPN promo? I'm gonna stop because they're not paying me for this. They're not paying me for this. Someone said Liquid IV is so bad, and someone said I still buy Liquid IV. It's so good. Duality. That is the duality that I deal with I literally have somebody saying I love Liquid IV. Someone saying Liquid IV is terrible. I know for sure there's always going to be somebody saying, oh, this thing that you're promoting is not a good thing. And I just use discernment. I use my brain. If people are saying, oh, this is bad because I took it and I got sick. And then somebody else is like, oh yeah, I took this thing and I also got sick. And then somebody else is like, oh, I took this thing and I also got sick. And then I'm like, Liquid IV, I'm not going to do that. And I have turned down some sponsorships because I've just looked and I'm like, dude, the way people talk about your product online, it seems like everybody hates this. Why do you want me to promote this? But it's an interesting thing. Someone said the VPN is just generally a smart choice to have. I literally agree. It's not just talking points. I feel like a VPN is a nice thing to have. Look, I'll show you a real example. There was this album that I searched for on Bandcamp. Or there's this album that I used to have on Spotify back when I used to really rock with Spotify. Called What I Think About the World by Toshiyuki Teruri. And I was like, this is such a great album. And then it got pulled. And I was like, no! They pulled it from Spotify and I was sad. I have been using YouTube Music instead of Spotify lately. But I was so sad about it. And so I really truly do find VPNs helpful for things like if you were to go to Toshiyuki Teruri's channel right now and try to pull up some of his music, I don't exactly know what happened with his licensing deal. But you can see right here, it says this channel doesn't have any content, but it also says that there are 14 videos. That's what I use VPNs for. As I said in my sponsorship, it is actually so useful for music. And I feel like they should probably change some of their focus to try to capture more of these for years now. Literally for the past 5 or 6 years, I have been using VPNs to try to find obscure music, listen to music. Also, I be listening to music before it comes out, which may not be good. Someone said a lot of major VPN companies have done really sketchy stuff. No, that is true though. That definitely is true. Someone said I was able to watch Last Week Tonight early by switching to Norway. Yeah, no, I use them. So that's the type of sponsorship where I'm okay saying, hey, I do actually use this product. It's not a scam or I guess going to harm you or whatever, but it's just interesting. Someone said region lock distribution. I used VPNs to watch Tokyo Incidents music videos before they got international distribution. Yeah, region blocking, which I never really understand why it happens in the first place. I definitely is my primary use case. And then it is still nice to just have them. But they only paid me for 60 seconds. So actually, no. Someone said, would you ever consider taking sponsorships from small businesses and artists? I'm not a small business owner yet, but I hope to start one soon. I love to sponsor you if I can afford it. That's tricky. You can always reach out to the business email and see how that goes. I can't make any promises for sure. I would love, honestly though, if small businesses had like the same budget as bigger businesses, I would literally be promoting those in a heartbeat, dude. In a heartbeat. Oh my God. Someone said 3 internet tools of resistance, VPN, piracy, ad block. Yeah, no, everybody should just be essentially seeing how much of the web you actually have to put up with and then only putting up with what you want to put up with. Someone said, are you feeling okay? You seem very nervous. Do I seem very nervous? I don't think I'm nervous. I think I'm just like hopped up. I think that's the thing is like, maybe I am nervous. Honestly, dude, all of this is new. All of this is new. Me talking about sponsorships or like my sponsorship search process or trying to ID things as not being net harm by promoting them or this, that, the other. I've never been open or like talking about paying rents or these things, that, the other. I usually am just super, I don't know, mum about all these things. But I've been, some say you don't seem nervous. Yeah, I don't think I seem nervous. I'm excitable, man. What can I say? Some say y'all always think he's upset. I will say, how to word this. I do sometimes see people say like, oh, he's crashing out. He's crashing out. And like, I'm literally not crashing out. I swear to God. I think I just have. Are you going to get annoyed if I say I'm neurodivergent again? Chat, I think I'm just kind of. This is just this is it. This is the way that thoughts come out. This is the filter. The suddenly going full tilt into one singular direction while I was just seemingly paying attention to something. For a lot of people, that usually does mean that they're upset. I will say the average person just totally moving all of their attention onto one thing and fixating on it for like 15 minutes usually means that they're bothered. But for me, that's how I think. So I'm usually just like hype over something because I can't believe we're talking about my niche interest. Sponsorships are a niche interest. This is my job. And I love talking to people about sponsors. It's also why I try not to talk about my interests too much because I just turn into, I don't know, it's crazy. It's wild, man. It's scary. Notice one thing we didn't talk about during this stream, music. I did that on purpose. I didn't bring up music this stream because I know every single time music comes up, I'm on. And then people start getting scared. Someone said crashing out / crash out has been watered down so much. Yeah, no, y'all crashing out is a real thing. And when you are really, really crashing out, it's not going to be mistaken for something else. I'll just say this. Someone said I'm neurodivergent too. I love talking about details. Yeah, no, someone earlier asked me what my love language was. They were like, D'Angelo, what's your love language? And I was like, oh, I know what you're referring to. It's this idea that there's like acts of service. Oh, yeah. I again, this isn't like science per se. It's just a fun way of thinking about things. But, you know, there's like acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts. My love language is explaining the minutiae of my hyperfixation to you for 45 minutes to an hour at a time. And it's been the bane of my existence. Because that doesn't come across great to your average person. It doesn't come across very well. Here, I'll show you what my love language actually is. Okay. My love language is youtube.com/D'Angelo Wallace. This is essentially what I do. This is essentially what I find very edifying for both of us, is just me yapping about different things for an extended period. Someone said my ex got mad at me for being like that. Yeah, I've unfortunately gotten into a lot of like trouble over just existing as the person I am, of people just being like, oh my God, like you're annoying, or you're talking too much, or this, that, the other. And I'm just like, oh, I thought we were just talking. ... It's crazy getting hit with the talking too much accusation when you're like, damn, I thought we were just talking at all. This was too much. Sorry. And so me realizing like, oh, but there's this weird thing where you can actually talk too much. It's actually to your benefit that you never stop talking and get a little bit of a bag. I realized that, and I was like, hold on a second. We finna do some commentary. We finna do some commentary right here. Someone said one of my hyperfixations is house centipedes, and people do not like hearing about house centipedes. But the thing is, like, I'm still honestly just conscious of who I'm speaking to. That's all. I'm conscious of people's time. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're trying to do something. I'm over here, this, that, the other. But you know what the thing is too? And this is yet another hyperfixation thing. I don't actually necessarily need the people I'm talking to listen. That's not that big of a part of why I'm speaking. Does that make sense? And I know that sounds stupid. Like you're just saying that you're talking at people. No. The specific person that I'm talking to them on purpose. I am speaking to them. It's a conversation in my mind, but like them actually understanding what I'm saying or all of it, that's not the gist of it. I'm more like, I just am glad you're there. If the conversation ended and we were just yapping, or I was just yapping, and then you're like, I think I got like 33% of that, I'm like, okay, thank you. That's all. Love you. You're so great. I love that you tried. That's essentially where I'm at. Like, I love that you tried to understand how I felt. That's it. Someone said I only speak if I know someone's listening. Well, I do that too now, but for me, that's kind of like almost a form of masking. Actually, you know what the sad thing is? Because I struggle sometimes to ID when people are actually listening, I typically default to just not speaking to them. That's usually what I do. You would not believe this, but in my real life, people actually say that I'm quiet. Not the people who know me. Not the people who know me. Nobody who knows me says that I'm quiet. But like people first meeting me, like for almost a year after encountering me, they'll think of me as some really quiet dude. Like, wow, he really doesn't say much. That's crazy. No, I just don't want you to hate me when I inevitably misjudge your interest or lack of interest in whatever I was saying. And it's easier for the both of us if I just sat here and smiled while you talked. So that's the sad, unfortunate part of it. Like, it would be nice to just be better at everything. It would be nice to be better at understanding things, but that's okay. That's okay. Someone said I also get called quiet. Yeah. Someone said we're the same type of neurodivergent. I feel kind of understood. Yeah, no, they think I'm quiet as hell. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, none of the people in this room know I could jump in right now into half of y'all's conversations with like a level of detail that you're not ready for, but like they're really not ready for it. They're actually not ready for it. They're really not ready for it. Also, complaint. Someone said if I sounded like you, I would be even more talkative. As a man, your voice is goals. Why? Thank you. I talk naturally. This is just how I sound, but I could hit you with like the narrator voice. We could go deeper. We could get more serious. But no, I'm just like, you know what? Leave that to Markiplier because he's real good with the narrator voice. I'll just approach it from my weird wired / chill angle. I really like where I've settled. I think I used to sound too chill, and then I used to sound too hype, and I've settled in this weird space where I feel like I sound chill and hype simultaneously. People are saying, oh damn, we could go deeper. We could always go deeper with the voice, but you know, it is what it is. I could read you an audiobook. Y'all would be like, oh wow, where's this coming from? The narrator voice hits hard. Yeah, no, chat, he loves the sound of his own voice. Name anything more unappealing. Well, I would freaking hope I like the sound of my own voice because I'm the one who has to edit it. I yapped for 2 hours about ugly husband syndrome. I hope to God I don't hate my voice. I'd be listening back to it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, we'll send it. It's great. Someone said voice acting in your future. I think the problem is I feel like I have the right voice for acting, but you know what I don't have? The acting. It sucks so bad. I actually genuinely do think I have a little bit of range that the average person does not have, and I would be kind of a good voice actor. Because the thing about voice acting, a lot of it is just you're looking for a specific kind of voice or whatever. There are so many characters that you could slot me in that would make sense. But I'm a horrible actor. Someone said take acting classes. Maybe. I mean, did you low-key just say skill issue? This person low-key just called me out. And you know what? You're kind of right. You're kind of right. I guess it is literally a skill issue, which is why I don't do voice acting. But I've always wanted to. Someone said with practice, I could see it with the right role and all. Yeah, no, like for example, I cannot be a protagonist. And I know that. I'm not the protagonist. But what I do think, I could give you a hell of a bad guy or that secondary character who low-key everybody likes more than the protagonist. That would essentially be, here, I'll show you what I mean. Some of you may disagree with me and that's okay, but I swear I'm going somewhere with this. I have always known that like being the lead was never actually in my future, but there's a certain kind of aura you have to have. This is what I can give you. Do you understand? I could never be Ben 10, but I could give you Kevin Levin. Not specifically. We don't sound anything alike. That's not the point I'm making at. I have like that side character Riz, and that is the angle that I would try to get into. Like, give me your Kevin Levins of the world where, you know, it's like, why does he have so much attitude? And then by the end of it, you like me more than Ben 10. Someone said there's a Kevin Levin. There is, yeah. Ben 10's a great show. I love Ben 10. Actually, there's like 50 different Ben 10 shows, and I watched all of them. There's not 50, but there's like Ben 10, Ultimate Alien, Ben 10 Alien Force. Sorry, I'm doing the thing again. But yes, I like Ben 10. Actually, at one point, I feel like I knew the vast majority of the his little like transformations. It's a mess. Someone said do it, be our Kevin Levin. Okay, well, I'll take some acting lessons. That's the thing though, like someone said Ben 10 is why I transitioned and why I wanted to become a voice actor as a kid. That was a deep lore pull for you that I bet you weren't expecting me to pull up that. That's wild. That's a great reason though. Low key, like y'all don't even know how good this show was. That's the thing. Some of you did, but you literally had to be there. You had to be there. Also, because I was a kid watching this, I totally had a crush. Not like, no, there's no point. There's no point in even hiding it. I had a crush. Which Ben 10 character? From like Ben 10, I don't know which one I'm thinking of. It was the one where they were older. Maybe Ultimate Alien or whatever. When did that come out? Oh yeah, 2010. Okay, I was literally 12. And so when I was 12, let me put characters. My crush was on, wait, I don't know. They're not like showing me the characters. Hold on. Maybe I should do Alien Force or whatever. I think that was one of them too. Give me the characters. Oh, here they are. Okay. So, me as a kid watching the show, I was like, oh, I have a crush. And you're wondering like, oh, which one was it? Was it Ben? Was it Gwen? Was it Kevin? Yes. But rather just the idea of it. And if that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. It wasn't actually one specific character. I was just like, I have a crush on this dynamic. I would like to embody this dynamic as an individual. And so I feel like on some level, I do. And if that, some of you would be like, what? How is he embodying all three of the characters from Ben 10 simultaneously? No, that's my goal in life. I just want to come across this way. I feel like I don't even really distinguish between, like, a crush for me is not actually like, oh, I want a relationship. I'm more so just like, no, I need to figure out how to be this. I need to get on this level. You're inspiring me. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Someone said a crush on a vibe. I get crushes on vibes all the time. I think that's the only type of crush I still get. It's like, oh, that's a whole vibe. Yeah, that's fire right there. Someone said I watch that show and you do. Chad, I really do. I give all three of these characters simultaneously. Okay. Sometimes you got to give Ben. Sometimes you got to give Gwen. And oftentimes you got to give Kevin. It really was that simple. It was that simple. But again, I was a child. These characters are kids. Nowadays, I just have a crush on the idea of, again, being a frog under a mushroom. I'm in a romantic relationship with the idea of just being a frog. And I feel so fulfilled. I have a crush on the idea of like an anti-capitalist movement actually taking root and working, and then me not living under these specific circumstances. I'm just like, oh my God, can we get married? Idea. I love me a good idea. Someone said vibe crushes are valid. Yeah, no, they are. They really are valid. Sometimes I've seen this show too many times recently for it not to be a sign to rewatch. This is your sign to rewatch Ben 10. Better than AI Girlfriend? Oh my God. I've seen a lot of discourse about AI partners. So interesting. So interesting. And I feel like my issue isn't even actually with the people doing this sort of thing. It just seems kind of whack to, I don't know, shame people for doing this. I feel like more so, I'm just like, that can't end well. That can't end well at all. That's how I feel. Like, I don't know how to describe how I feel. I think a lot of people are definitely just like, oh, AI partners, you think you're in a relationship with an AI or whatever, like you're a weirdo, this, that, the other. No, I'm more so just like, this can't be good. You're confessing your romantic feelings to OpenAI's large language model, GPT-4. Oh no. Oh no. Someone said it's a sign of the times. Yeah. Someone said crush for me equals who I'd want to be if I was born a man. Real. real, actually. AI partners just dating a yes man. Yeah, well, no, because like AI like glazes you. Someone said definitely a larger societal issue. Yes, that's where my blame lies, and just the climate that would propel somebody to want to date an AI is more so where I'm just like, oh no, man. Oh no. Someone said my mental health has never been bad enough to get an AI girlfriend or boyfriend. Can we stop with the AI relationships? Yeah, no, you know what we need to bring back? Listen, I have a suggestion to any of you who is in an AI relationship right now. Take up creative writing. I'm about to call a lot of you out. A lot of people who write things creatively are actually following the same lines as people who maybe think the idea of having an AI girlfriend would be cool. No, it's not the same thing at all. Writers are actually creating things, right? You could have everything you're looking for. You just have to make it up yourself. And you will also have a product at the end of it. Take up creative writing. Here's my idea. Start with some fan fiction. You could probably start with, Twilight's a pretty decent pick. It's a pretty decent pick, right? Think about Edward Cullen. You don't need an AI for this. Listen to me. Think about Edward Cullen and all of the things that he did that were bad and should not be seen as romantic. And then think to yourself, you're like, oh, but I still found it romantic though, low key. That problematic thing that you just tapped into, great. Use that as the basis for your character. Don't name him Edward. And then start padding this out, and your fake Edward could be whatever you want him to be. Essentially, you got to create this yourself. Put some effort into it. Bring back effort. Bring back effort. You could make this character as problematic or unproblematic or whatever as you want to do. He could be your own guy. Change the names, or don't change the names. If you want to release that as fan fiction, put that joint on AO3. Or if you don't, you could make it your own story. And bam. Now what you have done, you just created everybody's new AI boyfriend, because that's essentially what Edward is. Listen, there's a video essay here somewhere that I am not smart enough to make. But Edward is actually the product of somebody taking a bunch of traits that they would find romantic or not romantic and converging them into one person and then foisting this upon everybody, which causes this sort of Edwardception of this being a lot of people's blueprint. And now you have all these new people inspired by this. This is the way that it should be. When you're out here yucking it up with ChatGPT, this is not serving anyone. This is just using inordinate amounts of water, destroying the environment, and plagiarizing other people's work. But this is revolutionary, essentially. Someone said, I think you're onto something. Thank you. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. That's all I've got for you, everybody. Bye. Thank you for watching so much. Sorry if the end came as a surprise, but I always end at the 4-hour mark, except for